is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Walton Rayom can help.
More tables, more entertainment.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning. It is here. Draft week, baby. Lots of stuff to go. Lots of stuff to talk about. We got draft week. We got the Bitcoin halving, which is really the most important thing in Bitcoin. Really the most important thing going on, period, over everything. But we've also got the NBA playoffs. We got our ass-kicking Panthers in the NHL playoffs. We've got Inter Miami with absolutely no defense leading the Eastern Conference at the top of the standings, even without any defense, which is amazing. So we got a lot of good things to talk about, right? I mean, you know, it's good that, hey, look, the Heat made the playoffs. That's good, okay? We know they're going to get their asses kicked, but, you know, it's good at least they made the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So we got a ton of things to talk about. I promised you draft week we'd focus, obviously, because I'm not going, you know how it is on this show. I don't go repeating things over and over and over again. That's, you know, I leave that for shows that are limited and all that kind of stuff. We could talk about a variety of things on this show. Life and music and entertainment and sports and crypto and whatever goes on. We talk about everything on this show. But we're going to focus on the draft this week. And just so you'll know, Tony Pauline and Charles Davis will join us today, along with Ira Winderman. Luke Easterling from Athlon Sports is going to join us on Tuesday. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN will join us either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm still kind of figuring everything out with Jeremy. Kyle Krabs will join us. So we've got a bunch of draft talk coming up over the next couple of days. There's a slight hope we do a draft show on Thursday. Slight hope. We'll see. Sponsors deciding, okay? You know, as I told you guys, I don't do this for, like, you know, just because I'm a fan. And no, I do this because Sean and I have to earn a living. You know what I'm saying? And so we needed a sponsor in order for me to do a draft show. Will I do something on draft day if we don't have a sponsor? Yeah, I'll do something leading up to that pick or something, but I'm not going to be on all night because I'm not getting paid. So if I'm not getting paid, I'm not working. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the way it goes. You know, I'm either a professional or I'm not doing it. And that's just the kind of the way it is. You know what I mean? So we are waiting. There might be a draft show. We'll see. We might get a decision the next day or two. And if there's one, then it's fantastic. And if there isn't, we will adjust. But we'll give you a lot of draft information throughout the week over the next couple of days, obviously. And then we'll obviously talk about all the playoffs going on. You know, and one of the things that let's just say, you know, there's the theme today, a changing of the guard. That's what's going on. There's a changing of the guard, and it's gone on for over a year now, you know. And we have to give people credit when they deserve credit, because we did it for many, many years to another franchise. We gave them the praise and the love that they earned and deserved. And of course, I'm talking about the Miami Heat. For a quarter century, they have earned and deserved all the praise. And they still have earned and deserved tons of praise for what they've done and what they continue to accomplish. But there's a changing of the guard. The best franchise in town and the best team in town, now for the second year in a row, so just so last year wasn't flukish, you got to follow it up again. The Florida Panthers have passed up Pat Riley. Maybe not overall, because the Heat are light years ahead of every franchise in town, including the Panthers. Light years, because it's a quarter century. But in the last two seasons, last season and this season, the team that deserves the most praise, the team that's for real, the Heat is fluky. Let's be honest, bro. I get it. You know, these Heat-centric sites, and they're full of fans running it, and some maybe are, you know, you want to visit the team, but you're afraid of, you know, hurting their feelings. The Heat are big boys. They get it. Don't worry about it. They can handle the realness. If you're lying about the Heat, they'll get pissed at you. But if you're not lying, they're not going to get pissed, because they know it's true deep down inside. They're big boys in Miami Heat. That's the beauty I love about the Miami Heat. And they're in number 2 now. Really, they're number 4 when it comes to winning a championship right now. They're behind 3 teams that are closer than they are. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I digress. We'll just go right now for the best franchise in town, and it's not up for discussion, is the Florida Panthers. They have real stars. The Heat have no stars anymore, because Jimmy Butler, by the way, breaking news for you all, is no longer a star. When you can't do it in the regular season, you're not a star anymore. Just so you'll know, Jimmy Butler is no longer a star. He's just a good player that maybe, just maybe, can show up in the playoffs now. That's what he's become. Sorry, but that's what you've earned, bro. That's just the way it is. You can't stay healthy. You can't be on the court. You're not a star anymore. That's all. You were a star for a while and you fizzled out. There are no more stars. They have Barkov. They have Kachuk. They have Reinhardt. They have Verhaeghe. They have real stars on that team. Real stars. Real stars. Okay? Not manufactured bullshit. Bam and Tyler and all that crap. Okay? That's manufactured bullshit. That's not real. See, you know, one of the things that I hate about our town basketball-wise, we did this for the Dolphins, and now we've done it for the Heat. We've dumbed down. We forced ourselves, well, not me, but many of you force yourselves thinking that Bam and Tyler are going to be stars, and they've never even shown you that, ever. But the team sells it, the writers sell it, the fans buy it like tools, and so everybody repeats one thing. I'll tell you something about the Dolphins. Dumbest fucking thing I keep hearing, and it's because some media members talk about it and idiot fans repeat it. Well, I can't wait to unload on that one. So here's the thing. We got to stop this shit. Stars happen. They come at you, and you know right away. You don't manufacture it, bro. You don't manufacture it. Sorry. It either happens or it doesn't. Stop waiting for Tyler and Bam. It's the same shit with Ryan Tannehill. It's like, you want to manufacture it, you want to keep waiting. Okay, no. Stars do it, period. Right from the get-go. They hit they hit the jumper from the elbow in North Carolina as a freshman, because that's who they are, right from the get-go. That's Michael Jordan, by the way, if those of you don't know. You hit the shot from the three-point line against Charlotte as a rookie. That's Dwayne Wade. It's just shit that happens. He takes Marquette to the Final Four. Shit that happens. Stars happen. They do stuff. Boom. You know what Zoe is. You know what Shaq is. You know, we used to bring stars here. And now we try to manufacture them. Sorry. The real stars are in Sunrise. They're not in Miami anymore. There are no stars anymore. Jimmy Butler's star completely faded out. I don't care about just showing up in the playoffs anymore. You're not a star if you can't help me in the regular season, and get the standings up. If you're going to coast and be a play-in, you're not a star anymore, bro. You're a lazy guy. That's what you are. You're lazy. Sorry. You saved yourself for what, bro? You didn't even make it to the postseason now. Why? Because you got lucky last year and you got the break with Giannis injured and all that? Bro, the Heat are fluky. They're not the Panthers. The Panthers are legitimate. They are real. They have real stars. This is a real team. Okay? The Heat are not. They haven't been for years now. It's just this bullshit that we're manufacturing, and they've overachieved because Spo is the best. By the way, on Friday, Spo can win with 5 slapdicks against the Bulls. I had Heat fans on Friday. Oh, what'd you think of that? I'm like, bro, they beat the Bulls. Give me a break. The moment will be for Boston to see if Tyler's got, if his balls have dropped. Did they drop? No, they didn't. Nobody's balls have dropped because nobody's a star on that team. Jovic and Jaquez are the only guys that played with balls, with fearlessness. They attacked. They were aggressive. You can build on those cats. I don't know if they'll become stars, but they're going to become players because they are fearless. That's what I want. That's what I loved about that game was Jovic and Jaquez, to be quite honest. I love that those young cats were just like, bro, I'm playing balls out. I don't care what happens to me. I don't care if I fail. See, that's what I love. In life, you must be aggressive and attack every way possible. If you're timid in anything in life, if you're conservative, your chances of succeeding are so minimal because you're not willing to take any chances. Can't play that game like that. And those two cats they were all out. I love what I saw from Jaquez and Jovic. Love it. They played fearless. You got something there you can build on. But the stars, man, give it to the Panthers. The Panthers deserve all your attention. They deserve all of your support. This is the team that is the closest to a title. This is the team that is the most complete team in town that has a chance to dominate and win in their sport in our town. And Viola and Sifu have built a culture, have built a franchise. They are following in the steps of the Miami Heat better than any franchise has ever done. Riley put out the blueprint. They were magnificent following it. Now they're kind of like in desperation mode, trying to follow what they've already set. But the class of player that they have in their team now is not even close. Brother, you had Ray Allen and Shane Battier coming off bench. Are you listening to me? Eddie Jones and Brian Grant used to come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Before they became the frontline players, they were added as bench players. That franchise has dialed it completely back. Yet they have the best coach in the league. Spo can get 5 slapdicks and win on Friday against the Bulls. Any 5 slapdicks in the NBA, give it to Spo and he'll win on Friday. If you were impressed on Friday, bro, your standards, you're like those Dolphin fans. Because as the years went on, you kept accepting more and more mediocre football. Like you kept holding out for Ryan Tannehill to turn the corner. I'm like, what the fuck are you watching? What do you people, do you know anything about football? That guy doesn't have it. Were you trying to manufacture a star? Stars come off the bench and win a national title. Tua. Stars make shit happen, bro. If they're not making shit happen, they're not a star. And the Heat don't have anybody to make anything happen. But the Panthers do. The Panthers have got plenty. So that's the team that you got to, and that's the best franchise, best team, best run franchise in town, top to bottom, no longer the Miami Heat, the Florida Panthers are the best team, best franchise, best ownership, best run franchise in town, top to bottom. Are we clear on this now? The Miami Heat no longer own anything at the top. They are number 2. Clearly number 2. They are a distant 2. Because they're not even close to a title. Inter Miami's closer to a title. The Dolphins are closer to a title. If the Dolphins stay healthy, they'll be better than the Heat. Got to stay healthy, of course, and Mike McDaniel's got to grow up a lot, but they have they have more stars. They have real stars. Inter Miami has real stars. They have no defense, but they have all offense. Heat are falling. Heat are falling, and they're falling fast, is what's happening, unfortunately. And now they're the number 2 team in town. No longer number 1. Not even close, by the way. It's insulting to put anybody near the Panthers right now. Okay? So let's get that shit straight. Let's start giving the Panthers the love that they deserve, because they are the best franchise in town. Congratulations to them, taking a 1-0 lead on the Lightning. Terrific win last night. That Barkov to Verhaeghe goal was just absolutely awesome. And by the way, I'm glad that the Heat game isn't till Wednesday, because, you know, it kind of sucks to have the Panthers and the Heat playing at the same time. I can't stand that shit, and I hated that yesterday. So we get game 2 tomorrow with the Panthers. We get game 2 with the Heat on Wednesday. So they're going to extend our pain for the Heat series. But, when it started 14-2, you kind of knew where it was. But the Panthers, man, that's the team that you really got to get behind and give them the love that they deserve. Okay? So, changing of the guard. By the way, in that game, the theme of the day, changing of the guard. Panthers beat the Lightning yesterday, and I'm starting to think that the changing of the guard is happening this season and in these playoffs as we speak. I know I'm getting ahead of myself because it's only 1-0, and hockey playoffs are as crazy as it gets, but I think the Panthers are now becoming the best team in the state. You know, in football or in basketball, that doesn't mean shit. In hockey, because the Tampa Bay Lightning are the other team in the state, it means a lot, bro, because the Tampa Bay Lightning are one of the marquee teams in all of the NHL. And we all know that they've been the gold standard. And this is what you're chasing in this state to become great in the NHL. If you can beat the Lightning and be better than them, then you're going to have a shot at the Stanley Cup, because you're going to be one of the best teams in the league, because the Tampa Bay Lightning are one of the best franchises in all of the NHL in the last, what are we going to say, like 7-10 years, whatever, right? So, I think the changing of the guard is happening too here. The changing of the guard locally just happened this season. Okay, because now this is the second year that the Panthers are by far the better team. I know that the Heat got to the finals, but please, let's sit down and be honest here. Heat team or Panther team? Come on, bro. What are you, full of shit? You don't like hockey. Is that what it is? You don't know anything about hockey. Okay, let me explain to you, since you don't like hockey and you don't know anything about hockey. Hey, the Heat can't hold the Panthers' jock. Last year or this year, they're flukes. The Panthers are for real. Let's get that shit straight. The Heat is a fluke led by a great, 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 great coach. The Panthers are truly talented. Truly a stud team. changing of the guard in the state between the Panthers. They're taking over. They're becoming the best team in this state. Obviously, one of the best teams in the NHL. And the changing of the guard here locally, as the Panthers are the best franchise in town. And it's not even up for a discussion at all. Not even close. You're going to sound like a moron trying to argue anything else. 25 years, yeah, the Heat by miles and miles. They're ahead of everybody. Last 2 years, give it to the Panthers. And in the state, when this series is done, the guard has changed. And Cats are the best in the state. So great job yesterday, man. That was just a lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun. Marlins, by the way, split it with the Cubs. Not bad. Not bad. We got Ira Winderman coming up here at 10:30. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about this. We'll talk a lot about this game. We'll talk a lot of, I know they beat the Bulls on Friday. It was a JV game. It meant nothing to me whatsoever. That Hero played well. Jaquez played well. That's kind of, I like that. I said, this is a JV game. Show me against the Celtics. And he showed us exactly what he is and what he's all about. And when it comes to Tyler, unfortunately, he's a soft player, is what he is. Not just physically, because he breaks down a lot. Mentally, this is a soft player. He does not have dog in him. He acts like it, but he doesn't have dog in him. Like when I watch Jaquez has dog in him. And let me tell you something. Jaquez's body is more developed than your average rookie because he was in UCLA for 4 years. I can't wait to see him get into the gym this offseason and build up his body even more and his overall strength even more, because he is going to become a terror even more than what he is already. He's like a little mini terror now. He'll become an absolute terror when he is attacking the rim, and he's going to be able to get space a lot easier because he's going to be able to shake guys off. His body will be a lot stronger next year. And then Jovic is another guy that I see dog in these guys. They don't get scared. They don't get nervous. To me, I look at Tyler and I see a mama's boy. I see a kid that's kind of a wannabe thug, a wannabe tough guy. But there's no edge to that guy. None whatsoever. He's soft, dude. And when you get in his face, he's done. And it's too much of a finesse game. Whereas Jovic and Jaquez have more of a physicality to their game, and they're not afraid to take on contact. Tyler's not a guy that seeks contact because he can't play in contact. And so this is why, he's a bucket in the right system and people taking pressure off of him. But once he has to become the focal point and the pressure's on him and they're going to focus on him, he's not tough enough to overcome that kind of stuff. I just don't see a mental edge to Tyler's game. I see it to Jaquez. I see it to Jovic. I see something to build on there. When I watch those kids, and they're just kids, I just think this is exactly what you want to build on. These are the kind of dogs you want on your team. You know what I'm saying? And Bam played the role. Played a solid game yesterday, but that's who he is. He's not going to lead your offense or anything. You know what I'm glad? The one thing I'm glad is that now a lot of people are now turning over and coming back to where I've been the entire time. Like, oh, yeah, but Bam's not going to lead you and this, nah. Now they're all backtracking. Without saying that they're backtracking, without saying that they're wrong, but they're all backtracking now, and they're all kind of realizing what Bam is. You know what I mean? Hell of a player in his own way. Number 3 guy, he can play off of stars. But he's not going to be the star. He's not going to be the lead guy. He's not going to want the ball all the time. And that's not who he is. And it's not because he can't. Okay? Yeah, that's the part you guys got to compartmentalize. It's not that he lacks ability. He lacks that edge because he does not have it. Too much of a nice guy. Solid game yesterday. That's kind of who he is. He's not going to, take over. It's not who he is. So, Steven Gonzalez says, damn it, you couldn't be more right. Oh, what can I tell you? Appreciate you. By the way, Ho Yoon, thank you. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, you can make a Bitcoin donation, which Bitcoin right now is at 66,210. So there you go. Be the first to make a Bitcoin donation post-halving. There we go. That's it. Let's see who is first in on the chat board. Cosa Nostra. Happy 420 weekend. Stetson Ray Sosa. Great win by the Cats and Inter. Sad to see a rising star like Gomez go down. Yeah, I know. That sucked, dude. That sucked. By the way, the Garcia Haney fight. Holy shit, dude. That was good. That was good, man. I thought Garcia was not going to win that fight because he's a little crazy. Está medio loco. But that power, that was good. That was good. Haney was winning the first 4 out of the first 5 rounds, and then after Garcia, that power just took over. Costa Nostra's loving Real Madrid. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose, reminding everybody to smash the like button. Steven Gonzalez, let's go Cats. 3 days away from the draft. It's going to be a great week. Heat are trash. Where are all those Tyler Hero fans? Yeah, some guy was like, I'll talk to you on Sunday. I never heard back from him because he was bragging about Friday. Oh, God. Steve Chapman. Miles Deep is out in Vegas. You knew the Heat were going to lose, but not like that. Yeah, I mean, they don't have any stars, bro. There's no juice on the team right now, unfortunately. It is what it is, man. You can't ask more from Eric Spoelstra and what they have there. That's it. You just can't, dude. It's like I told you, it's we've been downgraded in this town when it comes to the Heat, unfortunately. We used to get all kinds of stars. We used to have like Ray Allen and Shane Battier come off the bench. That's used to be just for fun, right? Eddie Jones and Brian Grant used to come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Guys that became the frontline starters after. And then albatross contracts you're trying to get rid of. But my point is, Ray Allen used to be like an extra. It's a whole different ball game. Shaq, Wade, Zoe, Timmy, LeBron, Bosh. We used to see like real stars on the team. All kinds of stars. Even guys that were stars, but then are still now really good players, but stars at heart like Dan Marley and Ray Allen, stuff like that. It's changed quite a bit. You can't manufacture the stars. No. You can try, and sure as hell they're trying. But no. You go look on the ice. Verhaeghe, that's a star. So that's what's changed, Steven. That's what's changed. Kachuk, that's a star. Barkov, that's a star. That's the difference. Real studs over there. Yeah. not manufacturing them here, unfortunately. You're not acquiring them anymore. Things have changed. It's a nice team, but there's a reason why you're at the bottom end of the playoffs. And there's a reason why the Celtics are at the top of the play. And I got to tell you, the Celtics have proven me wrong because I didn't even think Porzingis would last this long. And he has, which it's a miracle. Got to tell you. All right, let's talk a little basketball with the one and only Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Good morning, Ira. How you doing, my man? You hanging in there?
I'm doing good. For everything with the lighting in this hotel room, for some reason I look like a Martian, so I apologize for that. But I don't know. Maybe the Heat needs some otherworldly help, so I guess we'll just go in that direction. Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk a lot on today's Accurate Pembroke Pines report because answers in short supply, sort of like players.
It's not that, Ira. You're not supposed to have any answers.
Thank you.
Spo can do only so much.
Right.
It's just the standard of player is not what it used to be here in this franchise for many years.
Disagree.
And I get it. You're trying to find and unearth the diamond in the rough, and let me get this coal and polish it up as much as possible. And it's a great lesson because for the idiots that used to complain all the time about Pat Riley. Oh, well, Pat Riley just, goes trades for stars. Well, there's a reason why he's trading for the stars, bro. You see the banners that are hanging up there because they used to take you to 55 and 60 and 63 wins in a season, and they'd set you up for home court advantage.
He did that this year, but he did that. You know what, Big O? At least he tried. Because Terry Rozier might not be an A-level star, but he knew what he needed. So Pat Riley went all in, gave up an unprotected future first-round pick, if the way the draft goes is wants. So when you saw the Heat yesterday, you weren't saying Jimmy Butler. Look, at least a star, if not a superstar. You'd agree with that about Jimmy Butler, that he's at least a star.
You know what? I'm done with him anymore. No, he's no longer a star anymore.
He's not even a star? You've downgraded him further in the Big O ranking?
I have, because now he's done it 2 years in a row. If you cannot help me in the regular season,
I don't know. What about the playoffs last year, Big O?
I get that because you got lucky. Giannis got injured, and you got a break, and you got every break in the book, and you got to the finals. And you got lucky, and you tried to pull the same bullshit again this year. But if you cannot carry me during the regular season and make me a top 4 seed and play in the playoffs, you're not a star. If you're only waiting for the playoffs, then you're kind of a broken down star. And guess what? The broken down star broke down and couldn't help me. So I can no longer call you a star if you can't carry me in the regular season.
Look, if that's your standard, then I'm fine with that. But what I'm saying is, when we looked at Sunday's game, without Jimmy and without Terry, there was almost no shot creation. And something really interesting happened, and I noted this at the Sun Sentinel. All of a sudden, Drew Holiday was free to guard Tyler Hero. Because if Jimmy was there, Drew Holiday would have been on him. When Jimmy went out, Drew Holiday would have been on Terry Rozier. All of a sudden, Tyler Hero, who I put as sort of a B-list star, got the A-list defensive treatment with a guy like Drew Holiday. It's like, hello, Tyler, welcome to being the leading man. You wanted this? That's what life is like. Now you have to adjust to that. That's the difference. I give Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg credit because they did try to augment. They went all in on Terry Rozier. And when he was available, and when he was playing, he was very good. The game against Cleveland and what he did, his scoring. Exactly. Eric Spoelstra always talks about a guy. Yes, totally agree. Eric Spoelstra talks about a guy who can end other team surges. So maybe if Terry Rozier was there, instead of it being 10-0, 12-0, or 14-0 at the start of the game, Terry would have made his own offense and ended that start a little earlier. What the Heat have on the court now is, you say to yourself, do they have the best player? No, that's Jason Tatum. Do they have the second best player? I'm going to say no, it's Kristaps Porzingis. So all of a sudden, you're debating, do you have the third best player? No. And they also have Jaylen Brown and Derek White. That is a hell of a roster. As a matter of fact, I would take it even further, Big O. I'm not saying that they're the best team necessarily. That's the best roster in the playoffs right now when it comes to elite level talent, what the Celtics have put together, what Brad Stevens has done. And you know what? That's why I will agree with you on the rare time here on the accurate Pembroke Pines report. That's why you had to avoid this matchup in the first round. Who knows? By the second, by the third, Tatum gets hurt like he did in Game 7 last year. A player goes down. Instead, you fell into the trap. The trap door opened. You fell through. Are they going to win one game? Am I going to be talking to you before another Heat playoff game this season? I don't know. Thankfully, Game 4 is not till next Monday, so we will. Yeah, but this does not look good, Big O.
No, it doesn't. And by the way, Karma's the one that bit you in the ass. You didn't want to take the regular season serious? Fine. Now you ended up in the play-in and you ended up injured. You could have ended up relaxing the whole week, waiting for the play-in games, but you didn't try, and so karma bit you right in the ass. So unfortunately, the Heat and Jimmy Butler got what they deserved, because this is what happens because you put yourself at risk. You're an injury-prone player. Why do you need to play extra games? And this is what you did, dude. Why?
Yes, and you could have gotten a week off. And you know what, Big O? Let's look at every other team in the East playoffs. The Knicks showed their flaws against the Sixers. We saw that. Yeah. The Bucks, for all that they did in the first half, let the Pacers come back. The Pacers, we know, don't play great defense.
Halliburton shows up, then that's a different game.
Right. You had 35-point Lillard in the first half, 0-point Lillard in the second half. So again, flawed teams. The Magic can't score, a flawed team. The Cavaliers just glad to be there, a flawed team. I would actually put it this way. If the Heat were playing any other team, even without Jimmy, they could at least be competitive. Instead, we saw what we saw Sunday here at TD Garden.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that if you want to be a star, you got to carry your team during the regular season also, bro. It just can't be where I'm going to hang out there and do commercials, go buy coffee beans, and then, you know, I'll show up in the playoffs and, oh, no, don't worry about playing. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. We always make it harder on ourselves. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Jimmy, making it hard on yourself. Yeah, that's really good, bro, in life. Make it hard on yourself when you can make it a lot easier. Way to go, Jimmy. I mean, that fucking logic is absolutely amazing. So that's the part I just don't get, to be quite honest. And there's no fix because the Heat is
a fix. There is a fix, but it's not the fix that Big O and Heat Nation want.
How is Riley going to get Butler to play in the regular season?
No. There's no fix for that. Jimmy is who Jimmy is. Jimmy is who he was in Chicago, who he was in Minnesota, who he was in Philly. He is who he is, and you start from there. The fix is this, and it's hard, Heat Nation. The fix is to say, take a step back, which is hard. Not a step all the way back. We're not going Marlins here or something like that. 2 of the Heat's next 4 first-round picks are outgoing. So you can't tank because there's no benefit. But you can take a step back and say, okay, Bam and Tyler, fine. You're not A-list stars. Maybe you grow into it. Okay, Jaime and Nikola, you'll grow into players, and we will watch a team grow. Big O, this is the thing.
That was my positive yesterday. I love they played fearless. They played aggressive. They weren't afraid to make mistakes. They were attacking. I fucking love.
You can have a team grow also. This is what the Marlins never allowed when they got him Miguel Cabrera, and instead of letting him grow with the team and all those younger players they had, they just moved off of them. Beckett, whoever you want to talk about in that situation. The Heat can be that team. They can grow with players. Look, you don't know what player is at Tatum or Jaylen Brown until they prove they can be. Jaime Jaquez had an awful start last night, but he came around. It shows the grit that the kid has. Nikola Jovic, and you hear this around the NBA, does things that are unique to a 6'10 player. We saw moments of flash yesterday. He no longer is lost. Tyler Hero, as a B-list star, can still work as long as he's not your leading man. Bam Adebayo was the only player who showed up offensively who said, hey, if you're not doubling me, finally what the Big O wants. I am going to be aggressive and take 18 shots, and F it. I'm going to be the leading man. You have pieces in place, not to jump to a championship, not to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times in 4 years.
Guys, you can
grow on it. And every season when we do our accurate Pembroke Pines season-ending report, Big O can go, Ira, I like the growth from this team. There's something to be said for that also. We saw the Panthers grow up into what they are by guys developing, by the Montours and other guys coming along and becoming better players. I think we can see that with the Heat. If that's what they want to do, if that's what Pat Riley, God bless him, at his age wants to do, and if Eric Spoelstra, with his extension, has the patience for that.
Okay, look, you and I have had this conversation before. I don't mind rebuilding. I actually like rebuilding. I like actually reconstructing a team again. I don't mind going through the tough moments of that. Why? You've already spoiled me for a quarter century with all the winning in titles and shit. So I'm good with that.
You're the outlier. You're the outlier if you look at Twitter. That's the problem.
Because
you're
I'm
the outlier.
Because I'm the macro guy.
Okay.
I'm the macro guy. I'm not the micro guy. I see what is micro. Micro's not getting us anywhere. So I'd rather you go macro and let's focus on Jovic and let's focus on Marquez and let's focus on the young guys that you have, the Adonis guy. What's his name? The other guy.
Adonis Williams. You got Cole Swider, who might become Duncan Robinson 2.0. You have Jamal Cain.
And I want Duncan on my team now forever. And I want Bam on my team forever because I know what Bam is. What I want to do.
Haywood Highsmith. Don't leave out Haywood. Nice
young
player. Yeah.
What I want to do over the next couple of years is try to, like I've told you before, I need to get out of the Butler contract over the next 2 years. I need to try to move away from Tyler as much as I can. Maybe try to develop him next year to make him enticing so I don't have to give away a pick to give him away. And then that way I can now get fluid and get liquid. And then I can go buy a star that I can then team up with the guys I've developed in Jovic and Jaquez. Okay, do I have to take a step back or two? Am I going to be a fringe playoff team? I can live with that, dude. You've already given me a ton of titles. I don't have to worry. I'd rather you try to build something that can actually win it than make Eric Spoelstra be this incredible chef every freaking moment of every year because he doesn't really have the ingredients because you're not giving him any stars.
Well, you know what, Big O? I would take the Big O plan. I would make one subtle change. Okay. I think if I can move Tyler Hero back to his sixth-man role, that can be fine also. Because we saw at the start of last night's game, Boston's leading man couldn't wait to get Tyler on the switch. Like, oh boy, here we go. But you've seen this. The Jamal Crawfords, the Lou Williams, over their careers have been fine as six men, have been contributors. Look, I know it sounds like a lot. Oh my God, Tyler's making $30 million a year. You know what? That's what some sixth men make in this league, and you move on. You can make that workable. You can start Jaime Jaquez Jr. instead. You can develop him. You have a first-round pick this year. It's going to be number 15. You can make things work as long as there's patience. And Big O, it's fine what you're saying here in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report, but you know what social media is like. You know what Twitter's like. So let me ask you this, Big O.
But people that listen to this show know that I don't play the micro game. I play the macro game.
And that's fine. So if the Miami Heat go from 46-36 this season back to 44 wins, but players develop, are you okay with that?
I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. You know what I have a problem with is what you and I constantly have. When you sell me, oh no, Bam's a star. No, he's not, dude. He's a solid player. I love Bam, but I love him in the 3 role. I don't love him in the 1-2 role. I'm sorry. He's just not that guy. You're selling me Tyler. Bro, he's not that guy. Come on. You know, when I'm watching Jaquez yesterday, he's already stronger than your average rookie because he was
older, right? 4-year player.
Wait till they get him this offseason and they make him even stronger. And those plays inside the paint, oh my God, it's going to be so much easier for him to get spacing. He's going to be able to separate himself from people. He doesn't have the strength he needs yet. He still doesn't have the NBA veteran strength yet. That he has the savvy, he has the aggressiveness, he has all that. When he picks up the experience and the strength, oh shit, dude. I think Jaquez and Jovic, another guy that has to build up the strength and the experience. Once they know the nuances of the league and the players and the defenses and the coaches they're facing and all that kind of shit. Wow, dude. I can't wait to watch those two because they have the dog in them. And you can't coach that.
No, I love a young, fun team. I love stories I can write that aren't the same thing. Is Jimmy playing today? Is Jimmy not playing today? I'm with you. This has become a tired team to cover to a degree because it's the same story over and over and over. So from my perspective, I'm all in with that. I just have to deal with the fans who have to give me clicks, just like you have to get your views. It's part of what we do also. Jimmy Butler, when he takes you deeper in the playoffs, you have more interest. You know what it was like last year, Big O. I mean, obviously, you and I in 2 weeks, our Accurate Pembroke Pines Miami Heat draft report is going to start, and we're going to go in that direction. So it is different. But if there's a patience, and you can step back after the season and go, Ira, I didn't think the Heat's number 18 pick ever could be this good. Ira, I didn't think that skinny beanpole out of Serbia 2 years in could be a starter or even a contributor. Ira, I like seeing what the young players in this team are doing. Wow. I love Caleb Martin, but I'm going to keep me some Haywood Highsmith instead because I find him more versatile and certainly find him more cost effective. So you can make it work. You know, you can find players, whether it's Edie from Purdue, who might last to the Heat's 15 pick and get that big body alongside Bam. You can do fun things. Are fun things enough for you, Heat Nation?
And by the way, I get that in our media world, we have to be sensationalistic. I mean, I don't necessarily do that, but a lot of people do in order to
create interest, right?
Mm-hmm. The Scalabrine stuff, bro. Come on, dude. Come on. Caleb Martin is not a dirty player.
It's all entertainment. People, before anything, and a matter of fact, if you can even, roll the video.
That was just a young, overzealous player making an aggressive play, and it was a dumb play on his part. That's all it was.
I'm going to take it a step further. If you get a chance, please look at the video. Drew Holiday shoved Caleb Martin into the play. So if anyone gets a chance, or you get a chance later on your show to show the video, if you look at the video, Drew Holiday shoved him into there. So I guess what Scal means is, wow, that was a really stupid play by Drew because it could have got our star player hurt because he shoved, But again, it's your constituency. Brian Scalabrine's day job is NBC Sports Boston. He's going to take that perspective. I have no issue with that. We have our own people down here who take the other side all the time. I understand. I get all of that also. It's theater, and I have no trouble with the theater. But that play, if it was a dirty play, was a dirty play by Drew Holiday, not Caleb Martin. Not because I'm a homer, because it's common sense. But you know what? Big O, I think you'll agree with this. Brian Scalabrine is very good at what he does. He's interesting. He's funny. He knows the game. He's going to have a moment. You take it for that.
He's just wrong here. And especially if you've been around Caleb Martin. That's all you got to know. It's like, and plus, Spo doesn't send torpedoes at people. He doesn't have hit men or anything like dude, look who you're talking about. You're talking about the Heat organization. You're talking about Eric. Caleb Martin's a cool dude.
Right.
And
if it was Udonis Haslem, it would have been self-ordered by Udonis because he did. We remember the Dwight Howard moments like that, moments against the Pacers when Tyler Hansborough had to be put in his place. That's not Caleb Martin. Yes.
Pittman, right on the forearm shiver on Pittman on the guard for Boston. Remember? The big man. You remember the big man that came off the bench, Pittman?
Don't necessarily remember, but I remember Dexter Pittman getting himself suspended. That I do remember.
Yeah, Dexter Pittman. He hit the guy from the Celtics, the 4-star in their championship.
Rajon Rondo? Okay.
Yeah, he clotheslined Rondo in that game, and then he got suspended. But you think
this is all theater. Even Scalabrine was wrong when he said Eric Spoelstra called timeout with 90 seconds to go to set up a hitman. No, he was challenging a foul because the one thing Eric Spoelstra does is he will coach a game to the finish. He will still create teachable moments. That's what he tried to do with the late rally.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, so what's the adjustment, if there's any?
Big O, we can do this, and we can play the pretend game of you should shoot more threes. You've got to guard the Celtic in the circle. If you don't have Jimmy Butler and you don't have Terry Rozier, you're going into this game almost as if you're the Detroit Pistons or the Charlotte Hornets. You're simply undermanned.
And Duncan's still not himself.
No, you can tell. Duncan Robinson being listed to 12 and 14 minutes, limited to 12 and 14 in his first game back, tells you, like Eric Spoelstra told us before the game, there might not necessarily be a minutes restriction, but you can see it with your eyes what a player is capable of, what he's not capable of. My point with Jimmy is this. You take away the leading man of almost any other playoff team, and they're not there. You take away Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks. You take away Banchero. You take away Donovan Mitchell from Cleveland, for example. You take away Halliburton. You take away Jokic from the great Denver Nuggets. You're not the same player. Yes, the Clippers survive without Kawhi. They have Paul George and they have, James Harden also. But most teams, you lose your leading men, you're done. That's what makes this Celtics team great, because they can win without Tatum. They can win without Brown. They can win without Porzingis. They can win without Holiday, because everyone's a star in the team. This is a very special team. This is like one of the great Heat Big Three teams rolling through the playoffs.
I'm with you there. All right, what do you got going on the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Well, I turned things around. Today was supposed to be a day for a lottery draft tiebreaker for the Heat, or a draft placement tiebreaker. But since they made the playoffs, which I don't know, it's a good thing, they wound up at number 15 instead. So I looked and said, no, I know there's a bunch of people who are saying they should have missed the playoffs. Here's the deal, Big O. If the Heat lost to Chicago, they could have been drafting as high as number 12 this year. But we both know the Heat are never going to play that game. They're going to play to win. So I listed the Heat fell, what tiebreakers might have happened had they won one more game or lost one more game, and what comes next, because the draft lottery is 2 weeks away. They'll be spectators, and I think they're glad for that, because they like the playoff experience. Like you and I just mentioned, I think it's very good for Jaquez and Jovic to get these games to see what it's like. And then I'm going to write later about the Caleb Martin play, and just the fact that Drew Holiday shove. And look, let's have some fun. There's 2 off days. I get all of that. It's not how Eric coaches. It's not how Caleb plays. And if Boston wants to get themselves up in arms over the Heat, hey, power to you, Boston fan.
He was a little out of control, and Drew took it.
He always is. But Caleb Martin also was always out of control. It's what makes him Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin, I will say this. Caleb Martin might have created a dangerous play, but it was not an intentional play. There's a difference, because when it comes to flagrant foul 2, intent is also part of the categorization.
The screwed up part about Caleb Martin is he's kind of an injury-prone guy, and yet that still doesn't stop him from throwing his body anywhere.
Right. He creates his own energy. You could say he's reckless, but he'll tell you he's just playing hard. The Heat needs some of that.
Oh, he plays super hard, but he plays a little too hard for the detriment of his body, bro.
Good point. Point well made.
It's like I still remember him ending up in the bench.
And that's and Big O, that's why if he seeks big money this offseason, I probably move on, because I don't want to live with the injury risk either. Let's face it, and we'll talk about this next week in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report.
When you mentioned Highsmith, I said, what?
I'm saying we'll talk about that. I think you're going to have to do either or, just because the money is so tight. I probably lead toward Haywood, because he knows his role. He plays it well. He's making the threes. Right now, it looks a little bit like Caleb's three-point shot is broken also as well.
Yeah, no, and Highsmith is more of a stout player, bro. So I kind of like that with him. And again, more durable. And to me, you need more reliability, at this. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, we'll catch up next week, my friend. Thank you.
Okay, hopefully my face isn't orange next time. Thank you, Big O.
All right, Donald. See you later.
Exactly.
There you go. Ira using the Trumpsters makeup. That is your Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report. Maybe Ira can run for president. I mean, that's kind of what it takes, right? Orange makeup, right? You look like an orangutan. You can run for president. The Spring into Performance sales event is going on right now, folks. We got 1.9% financing for 36 months. The 2024 Integra, the 2024 RDX, the 2024 MDX is there. The Integra, $299 a month. The RDX $419, the MDX $489. And again, they've got a fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles. You got to check them out. A large selection, baby. New or pre-owned. You can walk around, pick the car you want, the color you want, the style you want, the model you want, but more importantly, the price you want. At Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to... You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
won't get a basketball conversation like that anywhere. Anywhere. And you won't get awards and plaques like this anywhere except at Orvieto's Awards and more. UV printing, laser and computerized engraving, glass and crystal etching, custom engraving, gift items, corporate recognition awards, plaques, trophies, medallions, ribbons, bronze plaques, dedication walls, name badges, signs, advertising specialties, diploma lamination, custom framing. Please call my friend Charles Orvieto. They are right there in North Miami Beach, 1123 Northeast 163rd Street. So if you need a trophy for your fantasy league, your softball league, maybe your top sales person, your employee, whatever it is, a plaque, Orvieto's Awards, and more can help you out. Support the great people that support our platform, Orvieto's Awards, and more. Call Charles, 305-949-8098. All right. Egoblino, thank you for the love on the super chat. Do I see Bitcoin up to 90? But no, not at all. Not at all. It'll take at the end of the month, the ETFs in Hong Kong are going to kick in. Japan's ETFs are also coming. I think over the next couple of months, I think we can start to make a move to like 70, 80,000. I think by the summer, we can start pushing to 90, I think. It's like it'll take a few months before this thing starts to build. Now, listen, this is a guess of mine, just like anybody else. We're all guessing, Nobody can really nail this, like a buddy of mine. We were like, when there was a dip going on this last dip here, he was like, no, I'm waiting for 59, 58 or whatever. And it was like at 60. And I told him, you can never really time the bottom or the top ever. It's really hard. Anybody tells you they can, they're lying. It's just a guess, and you might be right and you might be wrong. So, Egoblino, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this thing starts to skyrocket to 90 right away. You know what I mean? I think it's going to take several months before we get there, but we're going to get there. And we'll be well over 100,000 by October. Well over 100,000. That I have no doubts about that. But it's going to take a couple of more months before. I don't think it'll be at the end of this month. We need the other ETFs to kick in. Plus, I was talking to a buddy of mine that's an investment a real investment advisor that actually, does this for a living. And he told me our broker dealer, which is extremely conservative, just gave us the go ahead to sell the Bitcoin ETFs a couple of weeks ago. That's another indication that would suggest a bullish environment. So the IMF just read this. Let's see. The IMF, who's been completely against Bitcoin, is now saying that Bitcoin is a form of protecting your wealth. I have to find the article, but I saw it this morning. I don't know which site it is, but the IMF has been, it's all these people that were against it, slowly but surely. They're, banks now want to be Bitcoin holders and all that kind of stuff. We're only going in one direction. They can fight it as much as they want because everything else is failing. But, I try to explain this to you guys. I've been trying to explain this for a couple of years now. So I'm telling you, it's coming. Let's see. What else do we have? Jaquez is our lead dog now. He could be down the line. Slim Dolphin fan says, what a drag, Big O. You're a hypocrite. You're the same guy that was saying how impressed you was last season. With what? I don't know what you're talking about. What, that they got to the finals? Yeah, it's super impressive if that's what you're talking about. That doesn't mean anything. I never said Bam was a star or Tyler was a star or anything like that. It's Jimmy doing his shit. Listen, Slim Dolphin Cutout. This is not the place to lie to yourself. You know, my brother, if you can't handle the truth, what are you, butthurt or something about my comments about the Heat? You know. So this isn't the place for you like hardcore fans that all you think of is everything positive. This is not the platform for you. Not the platform for you. We're going to talk about what's actually going on, what the truth is. And you know, those kind of fans can't handle the truth. They just can't. So what can I tell you? We're not the platform for that. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Charles Davis of the NFL Network will join us on the other side right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, baby. We are ready. Hour number 2 of the program. We're set to talk a little NFL draft with my man Charles Davis from the NFL Network. Mr. Davis, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning to you. It's good to see you and hear you.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Yeah, right? Because we normally do it like you do, or, you know, you and I run into each other for 20 years now at the Combine and Senior Bowl and all that good stuff. So I'm going to go back next year. I didn't go this year, but I definitely will go back next year.
Need you back. Indianapolis.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to go back, especially to Mobile. I love hanging out there. That's actually my favorite week of the NFL season is actually the Senior Bowl.
Nice.
It's such a relaxed atmosphere where I can get NFL people and talk to them, and they're kind of chill.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, right? Their seasons are over for the most part. Like most of the people you run into in Mobile, it's pretty much done, okay? Because at that point in Mobile, you're down to 2 teams. Right. So everyone else is, okay, that part didn't happen. So it's a little bit different situation. I bet that plays into it a little bit.
You know how it is, the intensity during the regular season. It's not just players, man. Everybody is.
Everyone.
You know, it's just they're so dialed up. This is an interesting draft, Charles, for the Miami Dolphins because where they're at in the first round, to me, and because of their needs, like you don't want to draft just needs. You never want to do it. You want to take best player possible. But because their needs are on the D-line and O-line mainly, and that's where you really want to beef up normally. I mean, hell, Philadelphia does that for a living every year in the draft. They beef up the O and D lines, but Miami needs it, and obviously the loss of Christian Wilkins, all that. So you look at where Miami is right now at 21, and I start looking at Jared Verse. I love Latu. I don't know if Verse will fall there, but Latu is a guy that I think could be there. I love Tyler Guyton. I love Jackson Powers Johnson. I don't think J.C. Latham will fall to them from Alabama, but I don't think this is the year you don't trade out, because I think this is the year that at 21 you actually can get somebody impactful on either side of the line. So give me an idea of give me the guys you like on either side of the line at 21 for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys you named, though, are primary targets, and it will be interesting to see how they come off the board, because I expect the first round to be really offense heavy in the NFL this year. I think there will be some defensive guys that go, don't get me wrong. But I think when push comes to shove, it feels like the offense kind of has the advantage and has the higher rated players overall. The interesting part is when you look at Miami, and you've talked about, let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Our crew was fortunate enough to do the Miami-Baltimore game at the end of the year, which had a lot riding on it about who was going to go to what. Was there a division title? Was there the team that was going to be number one in the playoffs? A bunch of it riding on. By the end of it, Baltimore had won, and Miami, unfortunately, had lost Bradley Chubb. So now you've lost Jalen Phillips with an Achilles, Bradley Chubb with an ACL, and little did they know, maybe suspected, but Andrew Van Ginkel was gone in the postseason when he went in free agency. So all your edge rushers, your primary edge rushers, out the window. So that's why for you, Latu makes a lot of sense if he's able to get down there. Jared Verse makes sense if he's able to get down there. Be interesting to see if there's a quick run, because there's three guys who are edge rushers that are acknowledged to be at the top: Verse, Latu, and Dallas Turner from Alabama. Yeah. And if one comes off the board, could that spark a mini run? Because people get a little antsy because the next set of edge rushers are not nearly as highly rated. Flip it over to the other side, and you talk about the offensive line, especially the interior, is a center. Miami might get first bite of the apple at the center position. Is it Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon they like best? Is it Graham Barton, who's the conversion guy, left tackle, but we expect to move inside the center from Duke? Do they value Zach Frazier high enough to push him up there and make him a guy that they would consider? All that comes into play as well, because I really think they want to get some people back to their natural positions and able to play that way. And you brought up Tyler Guyton because you're talking about a tackle. Now, Tyler's been a right tackle. Right. But the athleticism, former tight end, and many think he can flip over and play left side.
Well, but I also think this.
It's interesting.
I think Austin Jackson can play left tackle because he's extremely athletic. And now, if you look at Austin Jackson now, Charles, with real coaching and all that, his confidence is soaring like an eagle. He feels great about himself. Where the first couple of years, he didn't have the proper teacher. He didn't have the proper foundation for him to grow. Plus, he came out super young. He gave bone marrow to his sister. That guy didn't practice his last year at UCLA. He was like, or USC, I'm sorry. It was USC, right? I'm sorry. Yep. He didn't practice because he didn't have the strength. So he would just play on Saturdays. That's how, I think that's the reason why he's special.
It's hard to do. You do that occasionally. You do that occasionally. You do that as a one-off, not a steady diet of it. I will say this. Is Miami and I think Atlanta this year that this past summer that they practiced together. Atlanta came down and gave them work and what have you. And I will tell you the improvement from what I saw when Atlanta was in town to what I saw at the end of the season in Austin Jackson was considerable. Because if you had asked me right then and there what kind of year Austin Jackson was going to have, and I'm talking about third week in August, right? Going into the season, I would have told you this is going to be a major league struggle all year long. He had a rough time when Atlanta came in. And remember, Atlanta, what do they want first and foremost in the draft this year? An edge rusher. They haven't had a good edge rusher since Jonathan Abraham. Vic Beasley gave him a spark every now and one season's worth, that sort of deal. But all I'm saying is, to your point, you saw a young man continue to mature, a kid that battled, got better. So all of that is on the table. And now you're just seeing probably a steady ascent for him, which is fun to watch.
And by the way, they're paying him like $12 million a year. So if you move him over to the left,
reason to ascend.
You're getting a hell of a bargain too. On top of all of that, that's a Chris Greer special right there. That's the other thing. They've been so injured the last 2 years at the end of the year. I don't think people realize, and I know I sound like a homer. It's funny because I've killed the Dolphins for 20 years for all kinds of mistakes. Now I'm the biggest fan because I think Greer, McKenzie, and Allen happen to be maybe one of the best trios in the NFL when it comes to personnel. Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie should be their own damn GMs. Let's put it that way. Yeah. It's just people don't realize that. But whatever, you know this, I know this. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I think people don't realize how special what we have up front in the front office, and I think we're headed a big time. All they need is a couple of breaks of staying healthy. The last 2 years,
healthy is a big one. Staying healthy is huge, as you well know. The best teams in the Super Bowl are always healthy. It's just,
man, they have been so injury riddled the last 2 years. I just want them to stay healthy and let's see what they can do in the playoffs. One more thing before we get out of the first round.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk some of our Dolphin fans off the ledge. There's no way. That's why they went and signed Jonnu Smith. They knew Brock Bowers was not going to fall to them at 21. So please explain to the folks how special Brock Bowers is. You said it. This draft will be heavy offensive. Well, guess who's going to be one of the heavy weapons taken early in offense? Brock Bowers. Tell me about Bowers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, when you establish what you watch with Bowers, one person's opinion, but I feel like I'm just, singing with a big choir right now. There's not anything he can't do. And people have to remember, if you're looking for that old school, put his hand in the ground, line up, put his chest and face mask into someone else and move him, he can do that from time to time. He's willing. But that's not why you draft him. You draft him to catch the football in the middle of the field. You draft him to score touchdowns. You draft him to use him in the run game and toss it. You can almost toss sweep it to him, let alone jet sweep it. Get it to him in his own screen game. All the things that you want, because with the ball in his hands and creating an opportunity to get the ball in his hands, he's the niftiest tight end that we've had come out in a long time. Now, Kyle Pitts would be the argument, right, from Atlanta. Similar type player, took him in the top 5. Is that really what you want to do with tight ends, et cetera? That's what's going to be the biggest debate for teams. Are you getting that value? Now, how much of that was just Atlanta hasn't done it the right way? How much he's been hurt? Look, with Bowers, I would argue, Big O, that it starts at 5 with the Los Angeles Chargers and goes from there, only because the other teams are so quarterback needy. He is a top 5 talent in my mind, in my estimation. And if you want to worry about toughness, had the ankle surgery in the middle of the season, that tightrope surgery that's so popular now to get guys back quicker. Well, his spot in the draft was pretty well solidified. He could have shut that down right there. They'd won back-to-back national titles. No one would have said a word. Instead, he fought his way back on the field to try and help his team win, and wasn't 100%, but it didn't matter to him. He wanted to play and be with his guys. I don't ever ding guys anymore, but I definitely give him an extra check mark. And Brock Bowers is getting that check mark. There's no doubt about it. Look, 5 with the Chargers. You can make a case 6 with the Giants if you're trying to get Daniel Jones right. And Darren Waller's talking about retiring, right? You can go ahead and that the Falcons aren't at 8, but at 10 with the Jets, it almost feels like that's where the bidding ends. Almost feels like that's the spot. The idea that he gets down to 21, I think I put him at like 21, 22 in my first mock draft, and I laughed at myself. There's no way he's getting all the way down here.
Yeah, no. For me, the thing that's going on in Atlanta is just like what I told you about Austin Jackson. He hasn't had the foundation he needs in order to succeed. I know he's had some injuries too, but I wish he had the foundation. All right, quickly, here we go. Second round. There's a couple of guys I like. I know Brandon Dorian's a little smallish, but again, kind of a need. Chris Jenkins, a legacy guy. Mason Smith with 2 A's. I actually like him out of LSU. BB, the K-State guard. Rook Aurora. I like him actually a lot.
Yes.
And then Chris Braswell from Alabama, the linebacker. Talk to me a little bit about this second round, because again, the needs that Miami has, there's actually legitimate players in that area that could help them. It's really interesting that their first and second round picks, there's legitimate players at the positions that they need.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Here's what if it's okay with you, Let's go Lightning on it. You throw the name, I'll give you something back, and we'll get that way we can get through these kids.
Easton Smith, really quick. You like him? I love him out of LSU.
Smith out of LSU. I love him a lot. Big stick, stout person, works hard inside. Guess what? He can go make a lot of plays for you and can work his way upfield.
And by the way, he plays 4 positions on the line, which they love versatility here in Miami. The Rook kid,
and he's a big leadership teammate guy. Wore the number 18, which is big at LSU.
Clemson kid, Rook. I love him.
Rook Aurora is still as raw can be. As soon as he learns to put some more clubs in his bag in terms of pass rush moves, he's really going to be dangerous. But he creates rubble. When you turn on the tape, you turned it on to watch Tyler Davis, his teammate at D-tackle. He wore number 13. As you watch the tape, your eyes kept shifting to number 33. He's going to be special. By the way, the head coach made the call on him. A lot of people weren't keen on recruiting him. Head coach saw something in him. And Dabo Sweeney, what a great call by Dabo.
One of the scouts told me, he goes, he's only been playing since he was a junior.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much more out there for him. And if you're a defensive line coach, you're going to salivate with a chance to work with him.
He's from Africa, I think, or something like that.
I think Nigeria.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of our kid Kader Kohu, who is kind of also like a late bloomer, and he's like, you look at his body and you're like, yeah, dude, you're not a Division II player. What? And he has an NFL body already coming out of school. That's why he hits hard. That's why he's an excellent tackler. You know what I mean? And so he's got the world in front of him. And that's kind of what I see with Rook a little bit. Now, Braswell from Alabama, what do you think about him as an outside guy? Is he a little too smallish?
I don't think so. I think that the way that he plays with good leverage, remember he was the opposite end, Will Anderson, and now, of course, with Dallas Turner, the whole deal sets an edge really well in the run game and gives you a little bit better pass rush than maybe what people might anticipate. Now, he benefited a lot because you're going to kick your blocking to one side to those other guys. That gives you a chance to make plays. This kid, I think, is a really good player, and he proved it down in and down out at the Senior Bowl as well.
Which is your favorite pick there for the Dolphins in the second round? If you had to pick one, what's a guy?
I would love to have Aurora coming in. Raekwon Davis no longer there. I think him coming inside and working is a big deal. Buffalo now wants to run the ball more. The Jets are going to get Breece Hall back next year. You see where I'm going with all this? When you get with this side of the division, that's how you have to have your teams operate. Win your division games, win your division first. That ensures that you go to the playoffs. That's who you're going to deal with right off the top.
And by the way, that was smart by Buffalo. We got a little crazy where, you can't run Allen that much. Yeah, but unfortunately, that's the only way he can play. He's really your pocket passer. You can't make somebody what they're not. No. And that's where I give the Brady a lot of credit. He saw what Dable was doing instead of what Dorsey was doing. He said, no, we got to bring you back to what your strengths are. And that's really the only way he can play the game.
Joe Brady understood very quickly. He works for a defensive coordinator as a head coach. And you got to give him credit for going ahead and playing to that, not just to pander to the coach, but to help the team overall when they were able to run the ball. You can posit that they didn't run it enough against Kansas City, and if they had, they might have kept playing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's what you have to do that in that one. All right, what do you got going on this week in the NFL Network, my friend?
Getting ready for the draft, as we all are, right? Getting ready to go to Detroit and do our thing there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll sit with Daniel Jeremiah when he does his mock draft show on Wednesday night, and then I get to sit with the big boys at the big table, just like Thanksgiving. Not at the kids' table, so that'll be fun for rounds 1 through 7, and that's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. So it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to do that. And listen, Daniel Jeremiah, spit it out there for us. I think he's one of the best in the business, if not the best. And I get to ride shotgun with him. Joel Klatt will be with us the first 2 days, and then after that, it'll be Peter Schrager, and of course, Rich Eisen holds it all down, and there's no one better.
I've known DJ since he was like a scout. Was it the Browns and the Ravens? Right?
Yeah. You're talking about both of them, no doubt.
Yeah, I remember him walking around the fields, and I got to know DJ back in those days. Now he's a rock star.
He's a star. He's flourished And boy, has he earned it. You know, he puts the work in. He has the connections. He knows how to do it, and he does it so well. And I'm fortunate to be able to sit next to him. And you know, it's kind of like the old Munsters when Grandpa would get the motorcycle out. He put Herman in the sidecar, had his knees all up in his chest. I'm in the sidecar playing Herman. Happy to be riding with Grandpa Munster.
That is fantastic. Charles, as always, my brother, thank you for taking some time and being a friend. I appreciate you, my man. Have a fantastic week here in Christmas in the NFL.
Thank you so much. Always great to see you, and continued success as always. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. There you go. Charles Davis, man, good stuff there. And our draft coverage, of course, brought to you by Welt and Rayom. Yes, sir. 954-966-4646. And we appreciate Daniel Rayom, Jeff Welt, draft coverage, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Call my friends at Welt and Rayom. They're in Hollywood, beautiful offices in Hollywood, and they've been helping people here in South Florida for 20 plus years, man, getting it done. They can beat the big companies, and they can take care of the smaller claims out there. So call them 954-966-4646. The consultation's completely free. So when you call Welt and Rayom, ask for Jeff Welt. Maybe you have a case, maybe you don't, but explain it to him. It's a completely free conversation, and he'll guide you. And if they can help you, they'll help you. And if they can't, and somebody else can help you, they'll lead you to that person also. They've done that for some of our listeners, which is truly amazing, and that's because they're just really good people and great lawyers. 954-966-4646.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welt and Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welt and Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welt and Rayom can help.
And we thank the great people there at Welt and Rayom as always. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Tony Pauline will join us in a little over an hour. He'll join us at 12:30. So we'll have some fun with Tony. Bitcoin right now, 65,752. It's gone up, and then it's gone a little down, and we'll see. I just don't think it'll be like a major move right now. Not yet, at least. Finn's Take says, Big O, the new narrative in the Miami Dolphins community is that Tua has to play with anticipation and being on time because he lacks arm strength to really put the ball there. Finn's Take, I think there's a lot of fans out there that are just dumb and they don't know what they're watching. Okay? To be quite honest, there's a lot of you out there that you watch sports in general and you don't know what you're watching. And there's a lot of media members that cover and they don't know what they're watching. Okay, so that's what I think. Here's one. Are you ready for this stupid ass topic that we have floating out there? Draft a quarterback so Tua has to compete for the job. Hey, Sean. Well, wait a minute. No, Sean's. Let me not bother Sean at this moment. Because this is simple. I'm sorry, I must have missed it. What was the Jordan Love competition? Where was that competition? I must have missed that. I must have missed the Zach Wilson competition. I must have missed the Justin Herbert competition. I don't know. I must have missed Marino competing. I thought just Marino came off the bench and then that's it. It's over against the Raiders. He wasn't competing, just waited for his moment. The guy in front of him sucked, wasn't good enough. All right, come off the bench. Let's go. I don't know, Justin Fields, was he competing? Was Kyler Murray competing? Was CJ competing in Houston? Did Josh Allen compete? Did Lamar Jackson compete? Did Trevor Lawrence come? What's this stupid shit? Either media or fans that are idiots that repeat what media says. When is there QB competitions? When? They don't do that. They draft their guy and they put him there to start. Everyone. No one competes. Aaron Rodgers didn't compete. He waited. Brett Favre's too old. We're trading you. You start. That's it. Aaron Rodgers, you're too old. Jordan Love, you're starting. That's it. No one. Daniel Jones didn't compete. No one. Who the fuck drafts a quarterback in the first round to then compete for a position? Dude, how fucking stupid are you people? Seriously. How stupid are you people? I mean, the level of stupidity in this country, it's like when somebody does something stupid and then there's a ton of people that follow the same stupid ideal. The same opinion, the same ideology, the same stupid conspiracy theory. What the hell is wrong with you people? When do they have quarterbacks competing? They don't do that. No one does that. You do that when you have two guys that are backups or two guys that are fifth and sixth rounders. When you draft your first round quarterback, you hand them the job. They do it to all of them. Oh, no, let's draft another quarterback to compete. And you fucking idiots keep repeating the same stupid shit over and over and over again. Jesus Christ, dude. You want the narrative? There's your stupid ass narrative. My God, you people are dumb. If you hear a moronic media member say it, that doesn't mean that it's actually a good idea. Think for yourselves. Look around. They don't do that. No one does that. Jesus, man. Really, it's shocking how fucking stupid you people are. It really is. And for any media member to also be echoing the same damn stupid line, bro, you're a moron. No one does that. If you drafted a quarterback in the first round and then you got to bring in competition, then you didn't draft the right quarterback. Oh, and by the way, morons, when a guy's in the middle of an MVP conversation 2 years in a row, there's no need for competition. You dumbasses. It's just the level of stupidity by some of you is amazing, bro. It truly is amazing how stupid you people are. Seriously. There's no joke here. This isn't shtick. This isn't anything. I'm telling you, you're a fucking idiot. So there you go with your narratives, because they come up with stupid shit just for clicks and all. Even if they believe it, it's still stupid. And then you morons follow the stupidity. Anyway, Big O, hear me out. I know I'm dumb. That's why I come here to learn. Just saying. I woke up this draft week feeling beefy. Let's get some big bodies. It's going to happen, man. I really like this draft for them in the first couple of rounds. They can get some players, man. They can really get some players here. Big O, did you like Tyreek talking about how Mike McDaniel called him out? Yes, I loved it, by the way. Gus1388, thank you for sending us that yesterday. Let's play that. Sean, bring up the audio. And here's Tyreek Hill talking about Mike McDaniel challenging him because he didn't play well. And I will have a couple of things to say about that. First of all, you got the cut ready, Sean? Ready to go? All right, here we go. Tyreek Hill on a podcast explaining Mike McDaniel going after him.
From the meeting room with the coaches calling you out in front of other guys, because a lot of guys aren't used to that. A lot of guys aren't used to sitting inside of a meeting room, being the best player on their team their whole entire life, and then a coach saying, bro, you suck this play,
you ever had somebody say that to you?
Oh, yeah, this year, Miami Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? Like, the player against Snead, the Chiefs. Everybody see this play against the Chiefs when motherfucker him into the flow. He called me out. He like, Reek, bro, you supposed to be the best player in the league, and you got this guy putting hands all over you like that. Man, we pay you all this money for what? And for me, I love that because I'm gonna take that to heart, and I'm gonna get better from it. That'll never happen again to me in my life, man. You feel me? If a motherfucker not hold me accountable, I feel like I'm not gonna be able to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously the coaches can bypass that. You know what I'm saying? And just be like, he'll get better from it. But if he not saying nothing, like the other guys in the locker room, they gonna look at it as, oh, if Reek can do it, I can do it, and that's not getting the team better. I need everybody to get better, bro. You know what I'm saying? Baby brother Waddle, I got him up under my wing trying to teach him. I'm like, bro,
he a dog.
I want everybody to get paid, bro.
He a dog.
Everybody deserve it, bro.
Talk is cheap. The time for talking with Tyreek is over already. I don't want to hear about you. You're going to straighten yourself off the field, that you're going to play better and all that kind of stuff. I've watched you for a couple of years now. You're a phenomenal player, a phenomenal talent, but you're not consistent. And so you need to get consistent, and you need to stay clean off the field consistently, and you need to stop dropping key passes in games. And in big games, you need to show up all the time, because you didn't show up in either Kansas City game. The first game, you lost it all by yourself. And in the second game, they manhandled you. So I'm glad that Mike McDaniel challenged him. But again, I'm at a point now where when Tyreek talks, it's the Peanuts teacher. Right? Because when you watch the Peanuts, that was the teacher, right? Because it's kind of telling you it's when your parents or teachers are talking, kids, they just hear white noise. They don't hear they don't hear the words. They just hear white noise. White noise. That's it. That's all. And what do I hear from Tyreek? White noise. Blank. Nothing. White is plain, blank, nothing. It brings nothing to the table. White noise, just noise. So, I'm past that already with Tyreek. I'm past the talking stage with Tyreek. I'm at the show me. The late, great Mad Dog used to have a line on his show. You're from Missouri, the show me state. And that's what I need from Tyreek. I need Tyreek to be from Missouri, the show me state. We're done talking. We're done talking. I don't want to hear anything more he has to say about what he's going to do and all of that. The white noise. White noise. That's all it is. Nothing else. Just plain white noise. There's no color to it. There's no context. There's no substance. There's nothing to it. Unfortunately. I'm tired of the talk. So it's great. I'm glad that Mike McDaniel called him out, but it doesn't mean shit to me because it's Tyreek Hill. So when you stop getting in trouble for the next couple of years, then I'll believe you. When you start catching the important passes all the time, then I'll believe you. But for now, white noise. Wah, 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 wah. That's what you are to me, dude. You're the Peanuts teacher. So that's all I can tell you. Let's see. Championship caliber players should not need competition to reach their potential. If they do need it, then they're lazy and should not be on the roster. Exactly. And there's everything about our quarterback says champion. Nobody works harder. Nobody's trying to get better. And that's what you're supposed to do. I was thinking about that clip. Does Mike is also going to hold himself accountable for his mistakes? Well, he has, actually. He has. Trust me, he has. Behind the scenes, he has taken it really hard how poor of a job he's done on the sidelines. I've been told that. So, yes, he has. That I can tell you for a fact, by the way. For a fact. And he's very honest with people around the building about his screw-ups. So it's pretty cool to hear that. But again, white noise. Because you told me, we saw the bullshit, let's just say one example. I got 100, but one example. The run game, right? He abandoned it all the time in the first year, and then he said he was going to stick to it and do better, and he did slightly better, but what did he do? He still abandoned it many times over in the worst moments to abandon it. So, white noise. Challenges. White noise. So, it's just, bro, don't feed me bullshit. We're past the talking stages. Get better as a coach. Tyreek, get better as a person and a player. So I just don't want to. I'm tired of the white noise. I'm tired of the empty promises, and you're telling me you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. And, bro, at halftime in the Baltimore game, he told the woman in the sidelines that he did a bad job of not sticking to the run. And the first thing he did was abandon the run on the first drive in the second half, right after talking to her. White noise. So none of that shit means anything to me anymore. Get it done. Let's see. I'd rather see it actually happen than Tyreek Hill talking cheap again. You know who does not say white noise? CM Punk. Sam I Am says, they're having Tannehill flashbacks. Remember the team would say he would have to earn the job, but we all knew the truth. Exactly. Yep. I woke up this draft week feeling beefy. I still love that line from Luis. That's a good one. All those idiot Dolphin fans is why we can never have anything nice, says Les Jams. Let's see. Salute to Charles Davis, one of the best in the biz. Yeah, he's so good. Let's see. Is Big O asleep? What does that mean? Marius Mims next to Orlando Pace and Jonathan Ogden. Morning O, it's very interesting to hear how McDaniel called out Tyreek for the playoff loss to the Chiefs. McDaniel checked a major box for me. He will call you out when he needs. Impressive. Yeah. Kala Joe, good morning, Big O. Hope your foot is feeling stronger and looking forward to your insightful predictions for the draft this week. Thank you, sir. And the foot is feeling good. Little typical soreness, but everything's good, man. Captain Saki watching out in Tarpon Springs. Luis says, Big O coming out in fuego. All facts. Panthers on fire. My son's little league basketball team has more stars than the Heat. Pepe coin to the moon, Big O. Just saw the push. Caleb got pushed in the back. Yep. Big O, I'm done with Jimmy. The Heat needs to get rid of his ass. He's too busy riding horses and selling coffee. The whole team disrespected the regular season. Get out of here. Yeah, but they can't get rid of that contract. Nobody's going to take that contract. So, Bert says, happy Monday, Big O. I'm going to see Hard and Cheap Trick in Savannah, Georgia tonight. Good for you, dude. Good for you. That should be a great concert. Fun time. What else? We went from seeing great star players to now role players like DeLon Wright in our playoff lineup. I know. Yep, that's the sad part, man. That's the sad part. Kind of dialed that stuff down, unfortunately. All right, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics, 786-618-1443, custom printing and embroidery. The Heat got it done in the JV game on Friday against the Bulls, 112-91, but the Celtics took care of business and trashed them. Unfortunately, it is what it is, right? So the Heat are now down 1-0. You kind of knew it was trouble when they went up 14, 14-2. You kind of knew it was kind of over for the Miami Heat. Game 3, by the way, will be on Wednesday, so you've got to wait a couple of days to overcome the 114-94 loss to the Celtics. The other scores in the NBA yesterday: Thunder over the Pelicans, 94-92. Bucks over the Pacers, 109-94. And the clip joint, they defeated the Mavs 109-97. On the pitch, Inter Miami defeated Nashville on Saturday 3-1. They've got first place in the East with 18 points. Red Bulls of New York are in second place with 16 points. Saturday, they visit New England. On the ice, the Panthers, they took a 1-0 lead against the Lightning with a 3-2 win. They got a 1-0 lead. Tuesday will be game 2 at 7:30 at Amerant Bank Arena. That is your 3A Graphics. Oh, I'm sorry, Marlins and Cubs. They split the series over the weekend, 2-2. Tonight, 7:20, Marlins and Braves. Trevor Rogers and Reynaldo Lopez. They will toe the slab. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Big O, what do you think about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame selection? I'll get to it now when I get to my music and entertainment. I will go over that. Okay. What else do I want to talk about here on the show? Oh, let's see. We got the playoffs last night. Mavs came up short. Were you shocked? No. Damian Lillard, hell of a half for the Bucks. Pacers, man. Well, if Halliburton is not a star, and he wasn't with 9 points, it's hard to win, dude. Siakam led the way with them for 36, but Halliburton has got to be a star. And then the Thunder, they edged the Pelicans, man, 94-92. Hell of a job by the Pelicans without Fat Boy. Tonight, by the way, 7 o'clock, Magic and Cavs, 7:30, Sixers and Knicks, and 10 o'clock Lakers and Nuggets. That should end up as a sweep. I don't know how the Lakers even win a game here in that one. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? By the way, again, can't say enough about what I saw from Jaquez and Jovic. I really like the way those guys played and the toughness that they played with. Big time. Big time. By the way, we always like finding our Cutter's Edge MVP of the night. That's when somebody performs at an incredibly high level. And we'll tell you who that is with our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
Well, listen, I can only go in one direction, and I am going to go in the hockey direction. Now, the interesting part about it is that I could actually go in many directions here with my MVP of the night. I could go Barkov with the 2 assists. I can go Kachuk with the goal and the assist. Okay, I can go over Hagee with the goal. But I'm going to go with Sergei Bobrovsky. Okay, 17 saves last night or yesterday afternoon. He has been fantastic. He had this one stretch. It's amazing because, you know, he's played well enough to win the Vezina Trophy, and he could win it. But he hasn't necessarily won your trust over completely because of all these years before it, right? But he has been fantastic. And if Bob is coming to play, you know, Stolarz has been awesome. That is, I think, the ultimate saving grace for the Cats, because I remember, you know, I'm old enough to have lived and covered and watched it personally, live and everything, Beezer, and he basically got the Panthers to the Stanley Cup because he was on his head almost every night. He was in a zone of all zones. And one of the things that I've always learned from hockey all the way back to those days is that when you have a great goaltender, man, that is half the battle. If that dude is in a groove, that is half the battle. And if Bob can get in a groove like he did for Columbus years back, and this is why you traded for him, because you needed him. Well, now you've got the team completely in front of him, offense and defense. And if he can do what he had yesterday, he didn't get peppered. I mean, he faced 19 shots yesterday. That's not every goalie in the NHL would die, would kill. If you tell them you're going to get less than 20 shots a game, they would freaking lose their minds. Like, really? Oh, let's do it. So, Sergei Bobrovsky, that's going to be my Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right, Ray Martinez. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you immensely. He is the first post having to make a Bitcoin donation. Thank you, sir. You know, nothing gets me more excited than a Bitcoin donation. So thank you, Ray, as always. Can't wait. I can't wait to run this whole investment by you on this one, because Ray just sent the donation and Bitcoin's at 66,000. Okay. And it's been as low as 59.60, but it was at 73.7. So still, what he donated to get to the point where it was at, it's going to be $7,700, right? Which obviously will increase what he just donated and everything else I've invested. And I can't wait when this thing blows up and goes to 80, I'm going to show you what we invested during this dip, okay? And you're going to see the profits are going to be absolutely ridiculous. And you're going to go, well, wait a minute. Well, yeah, it's never too late to get in. Of course, it's not too late. But anyway, thank you, Ray. I appreciate you immensely, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Means a lot, as always. There you go. Just got a note back from Charles Davis. He's such a good dude, man. Known Charles for a long time, man, like 20 years. And listen, I apologize for those of you out there that are Dolphin fans and you want me to like talk draft every day and all, and I just cannot do that. I just cannot. I'm not into repeating myself every day anymore. I just can't do that anymore. I used to have to do that on regular radio, and they want you to stay on the same topic and all that kind of, this is going to be a talk show. We're going to give you the best info on the Dolphins. Best info, period, on all the teams. Best angle on all the teams. Best insight on all the teams. But we're gonna bounce around all over the place, and we're not just gonna repeat and talk about some Tua stupid narrative every single day and all that. I just, that's a waste of time. I can't do that kind of stuff. I'm just not doing that. I'm not inventing shit just for the hell of it. I'd rather not. Let's see. What else do we have? Companies use crypto and train people on crypto. Yes, they do. Big O, did you watch the fight? Yeah, man. And I had Haney. I thought Haney would wear him down. Haney's patient. He's a pro. He's a great boxer, puncher, all of that. And Ryan, I know, has got a killer left. He's got power, pero está loco. And I thought, he's kind of disheveled and he's kind of like, I just don't think both doors are in the water with the kid. I don't think the elevator hits the top floor. I think he's a few sandwiches short of a picnic. Let me just be honest here. And I thought he would go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the middle of the thing, and then Haney would get the best of him. But dead wrong, bro. And Garcia, the anger he had, he said, this is a fight I would die for. I'm not leaving that ring without his head. He said that. He was quoted that before. And I'm like, oh, this guy's going to lose it. I mean, he's already kind of lost it, but, he's going to get frustrated there because Haney's patient. Brother, Garcia punished his ass after the 5th round. Haney won 4 of the first 5 rounds. He had the fight. He was coasting like I thought he would. I thought the temperament of Haney would win over because they're both equally talented. But Garcia punished him, bro. Punished him. And Haney could not recover from the punishment. He should have finished him off a couple of rounds before. When he got him in the, was it the 6th or 7th round, right? Where he should have finished his ass off there. You know what I mean? There were times, and he lost it. There were times where he was kind of like in his, like Haney's kind of caught. As we say in Spanish, está comiendo mierda. Like, yo, bro, focus, finish his ass off. And he didn't finish him off. He could have finished him off because he had him, bro, a couple times. Garcia's power was too much, bro. Too much. That turned out to be a hell of a fight. That turned out to be a fight that was better than I expected. It's not exactly, but kind of. I expected. It's not the same kind of fight. It's not a proper analogy. But in a way, like when Sugar Ray Leonard in his second fight with Duran, this is really old. You got to be old to know this, not for younger fans, but he got smart and he goes, he lost the first one because he was a dumbass and tried to fight Duran's fight, and Duran killed him because you're not going to sit there and play the power game with Duran with mano de piedra. You can't do hands of stone. Let me play the brutal game with hands of stone in the middle of the ring. Well, his name is Hands of Stone. You're going to lose. So in the second one, he fought Sugar's fight. And he frustrated the shit out of him, and that's the whole no mas, because it was Rocky couldn't catch the chicken. So I thought Haney would kind of not dance his way around it, but I thought he would intelligently box down Ryan all night long, methodically. Not like Sugar, a little different. Again, it was a bad analogy, but like in a way, and frustrate him and all that. But the power of Ryan Garcia changed the whole thing, dude. Changed the whole thing. And if they can run it back if they want, but Ryan should have even more confidence now going into it because he knows he can punish Haney. That's not good. So we'll see. But yeah, I saw it. Okay. Boring card. It was all right, but the fights leading up, especially the one before it. Oh my God, that thing lasted just, it stretched out too long. But yeah. So I watched it. Real Madrid beating Man City. Yes. Saw it. I saw my Arsenal over Wolfies. Over the Wolfies. Oh, Garcia is in Miami. Good. Good for him, bro. Good for him. I props for him because I did not think he was going to win that fight, bro. Did not think he was going to win that fight. Stock exchange talking about going 24/7. Something's brewing for real. Did you really? Why? Because the crypto is 24/7. Yeah, he beat the brakes out of Hanley. Favorites to win the Champions League right now for sure, says Chad, yeah. Big O, do you consider Barton or Powers Johnson as viable picks? Yes, of course I would. Yes. I'd get Barton. I'm going to want the tackle guard over the center every time and twice on Sundays. Okay? Because I know what's going on with what's it called? With Tehran. He's gone at the end of the year. And Kendall Lamb already told you he's playing for this season. So you've only got 1 year left. We got to hope that Keon Smith continues his development. I'm really, really excited. Believe it or not, I'm geeking to go to training camp to see the new players and to see the growth of Keon Smith. Because if Keon Smith develops and it costs you absolutely nothing, that's a bonus of all bonuses. And he played well last year for the little bit that he got. And I was impressed with him in camp. And I told you guys, I nailed it last year. Julian Hill, Keon Smith, Brooks. What was the other? There were like a couple, like 4 young guys that I told you, all these 4 young guys are going to make the team. And they did make the team. There was one more guy that I'm missing. And I nailed it before they made the cut down that I told you guys they would keep the 5th running back and all that kind of stuff. It's one more guy. I forgot who it is. And you know what? Julian Hill's another guy that I like his talent. And if you can develop him, then all of a sudden you start having depth at the tight end spot. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I just want them to get the break of staying pretty healthy at the end of the year. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. I think everything else will take care of itself. I just want them to have the break that they have not had the last 2 years and to see what this team can do pretty healthy. That would be a lot of fun. But if they're not healthy, then I can't expect a ton. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break for the top of the hour. 12:30, by the way, Tony Pauline, sportskita.com will join us. Do want to remind you tomorrow, Luke Easterling and Jeremy Fowler is going to join us. Easterling works for Athlon Sports. I know him. He does a good job with the draft. Obviously, Jeremy Fowler, terrific insider for ESPN. I've known Jeremy, 15 years easily. He's going to join us. Kyle Krabs will join us on Wednesday. I'm working on a couple of other guests. So we'll continue to have draft heavy over the next 3 days here on the show. All right, let's take a break for hour number 2. Get ready for hour number 3 right here on the Big O Radio Show, mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
More tables. More entertainment.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the program. Man, it's gone by really quickly. There's Hialeah Casino. We're giving away $100. $100. There you go. No regret first bet. All you got to do is go right there. Use that QR code. Go to the Hialeah Casino website. Sign up there. Get your bet through the Hialeah app. Okay. Now it is teamed up with the Hard Rock. But if you happen to have a Hard Rock account, don't use the same phone number or email. Use a different one. Sign on, get your $100 first bet, no regret first bet, and take advantage. You got the playoffs going on now, man. Great stuff. Go to Hialeah and make your bets, baby. There we go. Eric says, Big O, just 12 years ago, you can get 0.01 Bitcoin by just playing a computer game. That same amount is now 1,000. Well, no. 0.01 is around 667, 66, 60, 670 bucks, right around there. Not 1,000, not yet. But, yeah, man. I mean, it's only going in one direction, dude. And I keep explaining it and telling you, I know I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a big mouth talk show host. But, you know, I love the guy that tells me, oh, this is fake. And I go, well, wait a minute, bro. If you could have bought it at 16.5 when I told you, you could have sold it at 26 for a profit, right? You could have sold it at 36 for a profit or at 46. How's that a rig? How's that fake? Not sure. You could have bought Bitcoin at 25,000 and sold it at 50. You would have doubled your money. You would have been stupid because it's still in the 60s. So you might want to hold on to it, but whatever. You could have bought it at 40, sold it at 60. You would have made 50% profit. Not sure. How is that not real? How is that not a good investment? Do you see how ignorant and stupid some of these people sound? It's like, bro, you could have had plenty of opportunities to make money. It's not like I haven't been talking about this for like a day. No, I've been talking about this for years. So that's what I always laugh with the whole, again, if you don't really know anything about something, then why do you opine? You know, you shouldn't have an opinion on something you know nothing about. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys know that. Okay, but there's nothing wrong with it. And again, Ray Martinez, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, as always. It was very nice. He says, for keeping it up with a great show, Big O. Thank you, Ray. Very nice of you. You know I love my Bitcoin donations. There's nothing like that. Remember, you can make a donation, Cash App, or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, so you can support the show any way you can. And, of course, you can support it also with a Bitcoin donation, too, if you want, on Cash App or Venmo. Nobody's ever made a Bitcoin donation on Venmo. Is that amazing? Everybody's done it on Cash App. You know, whenever they've done, in other words, whenever they've donated Bitcoin, it's always been Cash App. Still, nobody's broken the ice on Venmo, which is amazing. I never knew that, like, the people that deal with Bitcoin, they're only dealing on Cash App. They really don't deal with it on Venmo. That's amazing. Big O, do you see the Miami Heat winning one game? They could. You know, listen, Ricky, this is how you view this series. This series is great experience for the young guys, especially Jovic and Jaquez. I love it for them. Do I expect them to win a game? No, I expect them to get swept. If Boston is smart, they sweep them so they can get rest. Can they win a game? Yeah, dude. They got Eric Spoelstra. So, yeah, they can win a game. Eric can figure things out, make it, you know, muck it up again and try to hang in there and try to sneak a game out. This is the way I would look at this series. If you get swept, not surprised. If you win a game, that would be actually pretty cool that you won a game. If you win 2 games in this series, it's basically like winning the series. It just shows how amazing Eric Spoelstra. But I think that's your pinnacle, that you somehow stretch it to 6. But I think it's either a sweep or maybe they win one game because you got Eric Spoelstra. Like I told you, like when I had people bragging about Friday, I'm like, bro, that's a JV game. Beating the Bulls? You're bragging about Tyler Hero playing well against the Bulls? Who are the Bulls? They're fighting for the 10th spot in the playoffs. By the way, I love the play-in games now. You know why I love the play-in games? The team that is 7-8 really don't deserve to be in the playoffs. They really don't. I get it that Philly healthy should be a playoff team, right? And all that. But I think 8 is too many as it is, and it's super watered down. So if you want to settle for 7 or 8, then you got to play those extra games. Good for them. It creates intrigue, it creates drama, but at the same time, it penalizes you for being 7 and 8, and I like that. Because I don't think much of you if you're the 7. I kind of tell you that in football, don't I? I always tell you this in football. The last 2 wildcard teams are scrubs. I know it's usually our team, by the way, but you don't deserve being in the playoffs. You don't. It's just a money grab for the league. Opportunity for those lesser teams to sneak into the playoffs and say they were in the playoffs, but they're not going to win shit. Just like your 7 and 8 seeds. Last year it was the shocker that they got there, but they had no chance to win. It's a miracle they got there. They got breaks along the way. That's why I told you at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the show, the Panthers are for real. The Heat really are flukish. That's why bragging about Friday's win, the Heat Nation that was bragging, bro, you people are embarrassing. You're embarrassing. If you were bragging about Friday's win against the Bulls and Tyler Hero's performance, you're embarrassing. Well, your standards are really low. Really low. That's how we've dumbed down Heat basketball over the years. We no longer have elite talent on the team anymore. They're trying to sell us like you've got something when you really don't have anything. And then these kind of victories, you're kind of like celebrating this. Look, the only good thing is that they made the playoffs. That's it. At least they keep their playoff streak and that kind of stuff. That more often than not, you're always making the playoffs with the Heat. That's about it. That's the good thing that came out of it. But you beat the Bulls? You better beat the Bulls. And like I've said 100 times already on Twitter and here, Eric Spoelstra can beat the Bulls with any 5 slapdicks. It's not impressive beating the Bulls. Eric Spoelstra is impressive. So that's the way I look at it. So this is about getting experience for these young guys. And if they win 1, phenomenal. And if they win 2, it's like winning a championship. Are you kidding me? That would be incredible. But yeah, they could sneak 1 because Boston got bored with that game yesterday. In the second half, they got bored. You saw it. I watched it. They kind of got a little lackadaisical, and then they kind of then finished them off. And so they could get bored in this series because the Heat ain't shit for them, dude. They can toy with the Heat. So I can see them sneaking a game in because Boston gets bored with the Heat because the Heat are too easy to beat. Yeah, I said that. Yeah. I guess some of you you're not, willing to hear the truth, but yeah. Boston got bored with them yesterday. So they can just like toy with them. Miami ain't nothing. Yes, I use Kraken, Josh. I use crypto. I use mainly crypto.com. Then I'll use some Kraken. I'll use some Coinbase. Move it all off. And then I use my Tangem, obviously. I can buy there also on my Tangem wallet. And I can buy my Exodus wallet too. So different, and Cash App also. That's where I buy my Bitcoin, on Cash App. Because I can move it for free. So I like not paying any gas fees. That is cool. Who do I have more faith in backseat Bam or no? Bam. I like Bam. No, Hero's not my guy. Bam. Bam is perfect as a 3. He's perfect as a 3. He's just not a lead star. He's not a franchise player. He's not a 1 or a 2. That's all. So, yeah, Hero for me is a bench player, is what he is. He plays off of stars. People don't feed off of Tyler Hero because he doesn't really scare people. Let's see. Big O, do you see the Florida Panthers advance against the Tampa Bay Lightning? If so, do you see us passing the Bruins and beating them in that series? I think they can beat everybody, bro. The Panthers have it all to beat everybody and win it all. The Panthers are legit. The NBA playoffs are entirely too long. Well, that's because, they have too many teams. You're right. And they have too many teams that don't belong in the playoffs. So yeah, I am with you on that one, Pat. I used to box back in the day. Oh, for the young boxing fan listeners, they need to go back and watch the Gotti Wars. Oh my God, all three of those were wars, bro. Gotti Ward. Oh my God, that was awesome. That was like that. It was a trilogy. I'm pretty sure it was a trilogy. And it was maybe the greatest trilogy of all time. It might be the greatest trilogy fight of all time. I mean, wow. Yeah. Gotti Ward. Yeah. If you love boxing, that's something you want to watch. Those fights. Those fights. And I'm pretty sure it was three of them. It was, wow. Yeah, MMA is definitely the thing today. It's not even close. That's not even a discussion anymore. It used to be an argument, right? The boxing community used to fight it off, pun intended. But they are in a headlock now, pun intended. They've been pinned, pun intended. Yeah, it's definitely UFC. Now, I will tell you this. If you have a great boxing match, you can get a great crowd still. But is boxing what it used to be? No, not even close. Not even close. Unfortunately. What are you going to do? Let's tell you a little bit about what's going on at the Seminole Coconut Creek Casino. Yes, I'm sorry, Seminole Casino. Let's tell you about what's going on in the Seminole Casino Hotel in Immokalee. Okay, so I end up going to all these Seminole Casino hotels all over the place. But Saturday, May 4th, I'm going to be there. The Belglade Kid makes his return, baby. Yes, sir. I'm going to go see Stephen Marley, go out there with the wife. 45 years of jamming. Love Stephen Marley. 8 Grammys. He's got a new album, Old Soul. You got to check it out. Got deep classics in it. Ray Charles, the Beatles, Frank Sinatra. Also, he's got contributors like Bob Weir, Grateful Dead, Eric Clapton, Jack Johnson, Ziggy Marley, all contributing on the album. And it's going to be a great concert. Inner Circle is opening up. We are giving away a pair of tickets on Friday. You got to DM me at Twitter at Big O Show or Instagram, Big O Radio Show, Threads, Big O Radio Show. Okay? Email me your full name, your email, and your cell. And when I pick the winner and I tell you you're the winner, your tickets will be at will call. All right? So we're taking names all week long. So if you want to join me next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday at the Seminole Casino Hotel in Immokalee. So in other words, if you're a Palm Beach, St. Lucie resident, really, because I mean, if you're going to come from Dade or Broward, then go. I'm coming from Dade, but I'm making the drive. If you're willing to make the drive, then okay, that's cool. Then you can get to hang out with us and have some fun and all that. But don't sign up for the tickets if you're not going to go to the concert. Okay, and you're going to punk out and you're going, oh, it's too far. It's up in northern Palm Beach County. I don't want to go. It's too far. Then don't do it. Okay, get somebody. There's plenty of people that listen to us that live in Palm Beach and St. Lucie County, they can get into it. So DM us, full name, email, and cell number. Big O Show on Twitter, Big O Radio Show on Instagram and on Threads. Okay? Send me that info and you will win and you will take advantage. Okay? It's a beautiful thing. May 4th. All right? And Inner Circle is going to be opening up. Bad boys, bad boys. Oh, what you gonna do? Oh, what you gonna do when they come for you? They got casino, they got restaurants, they got all kinds of stuff there. So you can make it an entire day and night. So there you go. Join us at the Seminole Casino Hotel in Immokalee. All right. Let's see. Aaron says, I had a terrible sports Sunday. Number 3, Austin Dillon didn't win at Talladega. Braves lost to the Texas on ESPN. Sunday night baseball. Lightning lost to your Panthers. And the Heat got embarrassed by Boston. Yeah, that's a rough one for you. I had a great weekend. Inter won. The Panthers won. So I had a great weekend. You know, Marlins split with the Cubs. That's actually like a victory. You know, the Heat losing sucks, but I wasn't surprised. I don't expect the Heat to win a game in this series. So, you know, that didn't shock me. That kind of like what would have shocked me if they would have won. So I had a great weekend. You know, even though Inter scares the shit out of me because they have no defense whatsoever. Every boxing fan should watch Hearns versus Hagler. Yep. That was a great comparison Matt Verderame said about Bam being similar to OG Anunoby, but a bit more offense. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it is. No one getting CD on the show today. Relationships matter. Who's CD? I don't know who's CD. Oh, you mean Charles Davis?
Yeah, Charles Davis. He said nice one. Getting Charles Davis in the show.
Oh, that's a friend, bro. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people in the business. It's not, I don't like bothering people constantly. I don't do that. And then if I want to do that, then I'd rather put money in their pockets. That's what I'd rather do. I've been in this business for a long time, man. I'm not big on doing things that I wouldn't like done to me, you know? And so I've done that where I've abused friendships that way, and they'll gladly do it, you know, because they're friends of mine and they'll do it. But I don't like abusing my friendship that way. You know, it just puts them in a difficult situation and all that. It just, you know, and I've done it before and all that when I was at QAM. But here, when I'm running my own show, like I told you, I could get Charles Davis on every couple of weeks if I felt like it, because he would do it for me. But that's not what I want to do, and that's not fair to him either, you know. So I appreciate it, and I love Charles to death. Get along great with Charles, and he's always been there for me, man. Tony Pauline's always been there for me for 20 years, you know. So a lot of these guys that I know, man, that I could just bring on if I felt like it, but I just don't abuse. You know, that's kind of my thing. Damn, he's early. Do you want to ramble on now? Are you ready to ramble? Huh? Looks like it. All right, let's do it. 30 seconds. The great Tony Pauline is ready to go. You're scheduled for 12:30. He's popping in at 12:24. Damn, he certainly isn't on Cuban time, so he can't live here in Miami. So 12:30 is 12:42 in Miami. My man's jumping in at 12:23. Now it's 12:24. 30 seconds. Tony Pauline from Sportskeeda. Next.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. You know, Tony, the best thing about running your own platform is you can do whatever the hell you want at whatever time you want. So you pop in, you know, we don't go into 8-minute commercial breaks or anything like that. We just pop in and get it going, man. Thank you, my brother, for joining us. Good afternoon, my friend.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. I usually like to be early just to make sure everything's working. I like that music is my vaccine. The extra 5 minutes, we could talk about Zeppelin before we get into the NFL draft, if you like.
Oh, of course. We can always talk Zepp. You know what I'm saying? But let me ask you something. I don't talk new rock enough with you. What is good new rock for Tony Pauline? Rival Sons? What do you listen to nowadays? I know you're a huge Zepp guy and a classic rock. So am I. Is there anything new you gravitate to?
No, I mean, no, I don't. You know, all the stations are classic rock stations, and you know, I still have a car that has a CD player. So I mean, I'm always slipping the song remains the same, and you know, I go in. It's either Presence, Physical Graffiti. The song remains the same. I do like the Moody Blues. I listen to the Moody Blues a lot. I also listen to like Sade and Anita Baker, things like that a lot. But you know, what do you find? I mean, you got to make it easy for you, or at least easy for me. You know, put on the radio station. Oh, I like that song. I like that group. You know, go buy the music or whatever. You know, when I'm in front of my computer, I'm doing rankings or watching film or things like that, not listening to music. Sorry.
No, yeah, I get it. By the way, does it piss you off a little bit that Plant is kind of snobbish about, like, he's kind of like anti-Zepp?
Yeah.
He's so into, you know, with Allison and all the bluegrass. And fine, dude, you're doing terrific. But, brother, he doesn't even do his solo shit, which his early solo shit, I love. Burning Down One Side, little by little.
Pictures at 11.
Yeah, Pictures at 11 now and Zen. Yeah. Oh, man, I saw all those tours.
So did I.
Saw the first 4 tours. Hell, I went and I saw Page and Plant in 1990 at the Arena. But doesn't it piss you off a little bit that he kind of like, you know, it's kind of like he almost acts like it's beneath him nowadays, which like, I don't get that, dude.
He makes a lot of condescending comments towards Led Zeppelin, which is very, very annoying. It's you know, and listen, it's funny because I tweeted out over the summer, I did an interview with a Zepp site, a memorabilia site about seeing Zeppelin in 1977, being at the Live Aid reunion, being at the Atlantic Records reunion. I was at all those reunions. I saw Zeppelin 77. And the guy asked me, you know, and I said to him, I said, you know, Plant was always my guy in the band. When I was growing up, it was his posters that were the most posters on my wall. I had Zeppelin, yes, Genesis, but it was Plant. I said up until about 5 years ago, and he said, what happened? I said, you know, I just got sick and tired of all the condescending comments Plant made about Zeppelin, about the Zeppelin music. I understand why he left. I understand, you know, what happened. It would be great for them to get back, but, you know, Plant in a 3-year period, he lost his 5-year-old son while they were on tour in the United States. Then he loses his best friend, John Bonham. So I understand that. But the fact is this. If it wasn't for Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant is a nice warm-up band. I mean, no, Robert Plant's not getting the same adoration. He's not getting getting hooked up with these, you know, Alison Krauss or whatever. No one's going after Robert Plant, or people are going after Robert Plant to pair him up with Alison Krauss, as much of the fact that he was the lead singer of the greatest rock and roll band that we will ever know, beside his talent. I mean, let's be honest about it. And he just seems, like you said, it's like beneath him these days, but it's actually what made Robert Plant.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I saw him with the Shapeshifters. out in the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, like, I don't know, it was like maybe 8-10 years ago. And, he did a couple of Zeppelin songs.
Right.
But it's like most of it was Shapeshifters. And I'm like, yo, dude.
Space Shifters, right.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Space Shifters, right? Okay, whatever. And it's like, yo, dude, come on, bro. This is not what you're known for, man.
It's funny because I saw, you mentioned the early tours. I saw Robert Plant the first time he toured. I followed him up and down the East Coast in 1983. And from 1983 to 2015, if Robert Plant was in New York City playing, I was there. Oh, yeah. And then the stuff just kind of got to be, to me, a bit unlistenable. And the funny thing is, you mentioned he didn't start doing, I saw him in 83, he didn't start doing Zeppelin songs until like the 88 tour. And what happens is if you go to a Robert Plant concert, whether it's with the Space Shifters, Band of Joy, Alice in Chains, whenever they do a Led Zeppelin song, the temperature in the room goes up about 50 degrees. That's when people, last time I saw him was 2016, and he did, didn't do Ramble On, he did What Is and What Should Never Be. He did Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, and this was at a small theater in Port Chester, New York, and the crowd went berserk when he did those songs.
Of course, dude. I just don't understand him nowadays. He pisses me off, quite frankly. Yeah. He pisses me off because you're shitting on one of the greatest music acts in the history of all music. They're right up. It's like the Beatles. It's Led Zeppelin. It's Jimi Hendrix. It's Aretha. It's James Brown. It's like there's only a group of there's only a couple of you, and Zepp's one of them, bro. And like
Zepp is the main one, and it's not. Listen. I don't think he understands what it means to a lot of people. But I mean, you travel around the nation. They have Get the Lead Out. September is you go around the nation, and it's and Zeppelin, is on a par with anything that's come out the past 30 years. Listen, my New York State license plate is LDZEPLIN. So that's my New York State license plate. So I just don't think. It was a tough time, I understand, in his life, especially at the end there with what went on. Yeah. But it's what made Robert Plant.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah, man. I'm just glad I was able to, at least, I didn't get to see Zepp. I saw him solo, and I saw Plant and Page at least. I'm grateful for that, because at least the Plant and Page tour, that was satisfactory for me, at least. That was actually really cool to be able to see that.
Well, the second one, the first one with the Egyptians, with the Egyptian musicians, that was nice because they were back, but it really wasn't, all that, whatever it was. It was nice to see them back, but when that second tour, what it was 98, I think it was. The first tour was 95, 98 or whatever, is when they really started to, you got that Zeppelin feel to it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. At least I got to see that. I just never got to see like you did in '77. My God, that would have been. I would have seen it in the In Through the Outdoor tour. That did not happen.
Right.
That's where I was hoping that's the tour that I was going to see them for the first time ever, because I was old enough and I could talk my mom into going to that thing finally, because I had just gone to a Boston concert recently, which it's funny. That's what I'm wearing right now.
There you go.
That was one of my first and that's not the shirt, of course, but
it's kind of funny you say that, because I will never. I mean, I saw Zeppelin opening night at the Garden, June 7th, 1977. And I have so many memories about it. So many memories. And one of the memories is, I go and I'm wearing a hockey jersey, figure I'm going to be cool. I was 12 years old at the time. I mean, and I sit next to some guy who looks like Joey Ramone. And we start talking. And at that point in time, I had been to a lot of concerts in Central Parks. People may not even know the Schaefer Central Park Music Festival, Dr. Pepper Central Park Music Festival. Talking to this guy next to me, and he told me that he had seen Boston like a month or so before at the Garden in like May of 1977. But Boston only had one album at the time. Right. And I'll never forget the story. He told me how they played the one album, they played for 45 minutes, and then they left, and the crowd went nuts. They started throwing chairs on the stage. They started going absolutely crazy. So it's funny you mentioned Boston and how it intertwines with my Zeppelin experience.
Yeah, exactly. And man, they used to frustrate. I love Boston, but they used to frustrate because Tom would take forever to take out a damn album, bro. It was just crazy. All right, let's get to some football talk. You know, when you're the Dolphins at the spot you're at 21, you could easily trade down and all that, but they have so many needs along the O or D line. Tony, this almost looks like the perfect storm for them. It just seems like there's a lot of names that they could use. Talk to us a little bit about the O or D line guys that you think will be flirting with 21.
Well, I don't know that it's easy to trade down, because in order for you to trade down, someone's going to have to want to trade up. And, sometimes it's maybe if one of the cornerbacks is there, it'll be easy for them to trade down for a team that wants to hop in front of the Philadelphia Eagles to draft the cornerback. But, offensive line, you're obviously looking at the interior offensive line. The big name right now, or the hot name right now, is Graham Barton out of Duke. College tackle who projects to guard, had a significant injury. He's over that injury, had a great pro day. People absolutely love him. He's going to go much higher than people believe he's going to go. I think that the Dolphins like him, but I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to swipe him off the board before the Dolphins are even called to the clock. Then the next name that pops up is Jackson Powers Johnson. And Jackson Powers Johnson, from Oregon, there's a variety of opinion about him around the league. Played offensive guard right guard 2022 at Oregon, was a terrific player, moved to center this year, had a real good year at center, went to the Senior Bowl. He was injured, played the first day at the Senior Bowl, and he was dynamite. Now, talked to people literally the past couple of weeks. They said Jackson Powers Johnson, in some instances, have rubbed people the wrong way during interviews. And there are other people who say that Jackson Powers Johnson was overrated to begin with. He wasn't a first-round pick. It's not an opinion I share. I still have Jackson Powers Johnson rated as my number one offensive center, ahead of Graham Barton of Duke. But we'll see how it shakes out on draft day. That's why you have surprises in the draft, because not everybody agrees. So I think Jackson Powers Johnson has kind of slipped a little bit as compared to where we thought he was just a couple of months ago. You go to the defensive line, Byron Murphy. I know a lot of people talk about Byron Murphy of Texas. He's not going to be there. Byron Murphy, the Seattle Seahawks may take him at 16. He could be gone before the Seahawks are even called to the clock. So the question is, if you're the Dolphins and Graham Barton isn't there, and you don't like Jackson Powers Johnson, you mentioned trading down, do you take a defensive lineman? Do you take a Zerhan Newton, a Johnny Newton from Illinois? I happen to like Newton. I know he's been injured in the run-up to the draft, but you watch his tape the last 2 years, it was really good. He's an explosive one-gap guy, would be a good replacement for Christian Wilkinson. He's a guy who, when you watch the film, even when the outcome of the game was well-known and Illinois was going to lose, he's still playing hard. Now, the thing about Newton is he's 6'1.5", 300 pounds. He's not, how much bigger is he going to get? Is he more than just a one-gap, three technique type of tackle? I believe he was, because Illinois employed a three-man line there. So I think that is someone they would have to consider. I know people say, well, you look at mock drafts, sometimes he's not even in the first round of mock draft. Big deal. He's a productive defensive tackle, and defensive tackles are always a priority come draft day. That's why Byron Murphy's going to go a little bit earlier than people, or a lot earlier than people think. That's why, Marshawn Nealon is getting all this late love. Speaking of Marshawn Nealon, would they go edge rusher? If they don't like any of this, if Graham Barton's not there, they're not sold on Jackson Powers Johnson, they think that, the 21st pick is too early for Zerhan Newton of Illinois. Do they take one of the pass rushers that's available? If Latu Latu of UCLA gets past the Rams and he's staring the Dolphins in the face, do they take him?
Last to 21. That's the guy I want, bro. That's the guy, because Jared Verse ain't going to last. He's not going to be there, right? Jared Verse.
On my board, no. But the other guy would be, Chop Robinson. If Chop Robinson's there, my order for the pass rushers is Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Chop Robinson, and Latu. Latu's got the medicals. I am big on Chop Robinson. I know I've spoken to some people that say that Jared Verse is the fourth edge rusher on their board. Chop Robinson is the guy who is getting in some people's minds, he's very underrated, and he's the number 2 guy after Dallas Turner. It's 6 1/2 dozen. Latu's an interesting story. I mean, he was a guy who he's got an injury history. He was basically told by Washington, "We're going to medically retire you." Then he transferred to UCLA, and he's lit the world on fire the past 2 years. So, number one, he's got to pass the medicals, and I'm told that he has passed most medicals. I know of 2 teams that have said we wouldn't draft him based on the medicals, but they don't need pass rushers. And then he's got to stay healthy, and he's got to build upon what he's shown the past 2 years.
Okay, so let me ask you, Tyler Guyton, not mentioned there. You don't buy him at 21?
From a point of view of talent and ability, absolutely. But the fact is Tyler Guyton was a guy who never played up to his level of ability on a consistent basis. He lost the starting left tackle job at Oklahoma, was pushed over to right tackle. He's a guy who is known to play in spurts. If Tyler Guyton played to his level of ability on an every down basis, Tyler Guyton would have been a top 12 pick. There are people coming out of Oklahoma during the season, area scouts, who like him as a top 10 pick. But he's going to fall probably to the bottom half of round 1 because, he applies himself on occasion. Who was the defensive tackle that Jimmy Johnson drafted out of Baylor about 20 years ago when he was at the Dolphins?
Darryl Gardner.
There you go. He's a Darryl Gardner type in the sense that he's got all the ability in the world, but, he needs somebody to give him a good boot in the rear end.
Yeah. Dude, there were moments that Darryl Gardner just shut shit down, bro. Like, he changed the world. And then there were moments where he just completely disappeared. It was the weirdest thing. And I've never seen anybody built like him, too. He was built like a defensive end playing tackle. He didn't have any fat on his body. Man, that guy was a freak.
But what you said was how a streakiness about how, sometimes he looks like a world beater, other times he looks like an egg beater. That's Tyler Guyton. If Tyler Guyton played to his level of ability, to the expectations that scouts have him, to his athleticism, Tyler Guyton is a top 12 pick in this year's draft.
All right, so they have a first and a second, no third and fourth. So the way I'm looking at this draft, you talked about the pass rushers. They might have an opportunity to get a pass rusher. Now, in that second round, there are guys like Chris Jenkins, Mason Smith, Rook, whatever the hell. I really like the kid from Clemson. I don't know what his name, but that's one of the guys I actually like at that spot. It almost feels like in that second round, there are some defensive tackles. There's also a couple of offensive linemen that will fall there. Talk to me about those kind of players, even maybe an outside linebacker that you might like in that second round.
I also like, I like Dwayne Carter of Duke. We talked about Graham Barton, the center. I have Dwayne Carter graded higher than most people. He's a guy who's very explosive, plays with great leverage. Not the biggest guy in the world, but again, if you watch this, if you're at Senior Bowl practices, he dominated. Rook Ororu from Clemson, I agree with you. I mean, I have him as a late second, early third round pick. He's got terrific size. He's got growth potential. He's very athletic. Ironically, he's from the same school of the player that they just lost, Clemson. Yep. Does have a slight bit of a medical issue, which I know some teams have flagged him on. Some teams are fine with. So again, depends on what the Dolphins think of the medical issue with Ororu. It's not a major one, but it's something that, some teams are slightly concerned about. I think he's got great upside.
What's the medical issue? What's the medical issue?
Yeah, they didn't go into. I've confirmed it, but this is the day and age of HIPAA. So, again, it's medical issues in the NFL.
We're good.
Some teams will say we're not going to draft this guy. There's no way. Go back to Latu. I mean, there are some teams that will not draft Latu because of the medicals, and other teams say, it's fine. We're okay with it. That's the situation with Ororu. You mentioned Mason Smith. I'm not a big fan of Mason Smith. Mason Smith is maybe best way to put it is he is the defensive equivalent of Tyler Guyton. He is a guy who had a great freshman year at LSU, then got injured. And if you watch the tape this year, very streaky. I mean, there are times where he's dominant. He makes a lot of explosive plays, but there are times where he's being handled at the point by a single blocker, and he looks like he'd rather be out fishing than rather on the football field. When you talk about second round defensive offensive lineman, I mean, if you're looking at an interior guy, obviously if Zach Frazier of West Virginia's there, I think that would be a real good fit. Christian Haynes, although he's more of a guard, he's more of a power gap guard. I don't know that he's a good fit for the system, although while I say he's a power gap guard, he tested incredibly well at the combine. He looked really fluid and moved well during position drills. So that's another guy that you got to look at if you're looking at interior offensive linemen in the second round of the draft.
Cooper Beebe, you a fan?
I love Cooper Beebe on film. He's a masher. He is a dominant run blocker. He is someone who, looks to bury opponent. Cooper Beebe has the fire that Tyler Guyton needs. If you could put Beebe's intensity into Tyler Guyton, you got a top 5 pick. The problem with Beebe is short arms, 31-inch arms, and he only did 20 reps on the bench press, which, people are going to say, again, you got the film with Cooper Beebe, which screams early second-round pick, and you got a guy with short arms who only did 20 reps on the bench. Make of it what you will, but that would be a red flag for some teams. I think I have Beebe as a late second, early third-round choice.
Well, that's what I was thinking. He's really more of a guard than a tackle, even though he's played tackle.
Pure guard. He's pure guard.
But is he athletic enough for the outside zone scheme? What would you say about that?
Yeah, no, I would say no. I think he's more of a power gap guy. If you're looking for that athletic guy, you're absolutely looking at Zach Frazier in round 2. Maybe Christian Haynes. Christian Haynes didn't show that athleticism on the field at UConn, basically because they didn't need him to, because he mashed people. But again, you go back to his combine numbers. I think he ran a 5.04 in the 40, and then he moved exceptionally well during drills. I mean, looked really good moving around the field in drills.
Brandon Dorian, smallish. Are you a fan of him?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Brandon Dorian, are you a fan of him, or is he a little smallish for you?
Brandon Dorian?
Yeah, the Oregon kid.
Oh, Brandon Dorless, the defensive tackle. Okay. Now, yeah, he's a smaller one gap guy type of defensive tackle who makes plays. They played more of a 3-man line there. He got caught up in the wash at times. He's more of a first step sort of lineman who's got some growth potential. Not the biggest guy in the world, not the strongest guy in the world, but I think he'd be real good on the inside of a 4-man line, like his upside.
All right, so what's going to happen at the top? How many quarterbacks are going to go?
I mean, there's going to be 4 quarterbacks. It's just a matter of are they taking the first 4 picks? Are they taking the first 5 picks? Are they taking the first 6 picks? So I think there's going to be 4 quarterbacks that are gone at the latest in the top 6 picks. I think Penix could very easily be selected much earlier than people think, in the middle part of round 1. I don't think Bo Nix is a first-round pick. I don't think Bo Nix should be a first-round pick. I think the only way Bo Nix is a first-round pick is if Denver can't move up and get their quarterback, and then they move down, grab some extra selections, and then take Bo Nix.
Are you a J.J. McCarthy believer?
No. I mean, I have my concerns about him. Again, let's go back. You talk about Tyler Guyton and break him up. When I watch the film, I got to say no about J.J. McCarthy. I mean, he doesn't have great pocket stature, although he measured in at 6'2", 219 pounds at the combine. He doesn't show great arm strength. And my concern with J.J. McCarthy is I'm not concerned with the fact that he only threw the ball 16 times a game. They didn't need him to throw the ball anymore. I'm concerned that I don't see great arm strength, and I see a guy who, he makes some questionable passes on Saturday, which will be interceptions on Sunday. Now, that being the case, I mean, he's got great confidence. He's a tremendous leader. He's got great moxie. That has all basically come across in interviews, which is why teams love him. If you read the story I wrote last week about some of the quarterbacks, I mentioned how when he was helping Michigan recruit football players, he would tell the players, listen, if you're here and you want to, if you're coming to college because you want to party and have a good time, go elsewhere. If you want to win a national championship, then you come here, which is heady stuff. I mean, that's the kind of leader you want. People talk about the national championship, did a lot of winning, beat the pants out of Ohio State 3 years in a row, and that is a huge rivalry, bigger than what most people think. So I think with McCarthy is if you draft him, you give him time, you continue to develop his arm strength, I think he could be a very good NFL quarterback, very, very good NFL starting quarterback. I think McCarthy, like Penix, like Bo Nix, is part of the situation that we've seen in the draft the past 20, 25 years, and that quarterbacks are always overdrafted. They're always given an extra half a round or a round to their grades because of the positional priority.
By the way, on the chat board, they're asking, I already know the answer because you and I already talked about it a couple years ago. They're asking that if you like Greta Van Fleet, and I know you don't.
I don't know. I've listened to them lately. They're okay. They're okay. I actually listened to that song. There was a song that was being promoted with the movie Ford versus Ferrari, and I've listened to them. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They just never really took the next step. It's just
the new album is not Zeppelin-like.
Okay.
I know the early stuff was very influential Zeppelin-like, and by the way, the guitarist is very good. You got to listen.
The bass player's outstanding as well.
Player is excellent too. They're actually very good musicians because they're actually old school bred. If you listen to them talk about music, all they talk about are the classics. That's all they talk about. They're like heavily influenced. Their dad is a classic rock guy and a musician himself. So he taught them and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where they got it from. But so they've grown on you is what it sounds, because a couple of years ago you were like, no, they're just a clone.
Yeah,
like, no,
exactly.
They're really good. They're you can sound like a band, but you still have to create the music.
Yeah.
And they're good, But
some of their stuff, I dodge around YouTube and pull up some of their stuff. And my wife gets crazy because I blare the speakers, I blare the music down here. So
good shit. All right, man. What do you got going on the Sports Keto so everybody can check you out, my friend?
Well, I mean, it's draft week, so all the news and rumors. There was one article posted just a few hours ago. We'll have another article tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm sure we'll have another article Thursday and Friday. So all the news and rumors. I'll have a final mock draft up Wednesday morning. And who else knows what's going to happen between now and draft weekend?
It's Christmas in the NFL, my friend. I appreciate you taking some time. We will catch up again down the line. Thank you for taking some time, Tony.
Thanks for having me, man.
You got it, my brother. Appreciate it. There we go. Led Zeppelin and football. You can't beat that. There you go. Tony Pauline, sportsketa.com. Make sure you check him out. That's one of my sites that I have bookmarked nowadays. Sportsketa. He does excellent work. There you go. Big McD says, if we take Chop at 1 and Zach Frazier at 2, I would be smitten. I really like, the more I look at this draft, there are players there at different positions of their needs where they're not reaching, which is just a beautiful thing. So good shit there with Tony Pauline. And if you missed any of that stuff, obviously Sean will have that up shortly, and he'll be posting all the interviews and everything else, audio and video. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Any breaking news? Nothing, right? I haven't seen anything yet. Haven't kept up nearly as much. Where is Bitcoin is at $66,076. Basically. Hasn't moved much. Well, it has moved up, but a little bit, and then it stays there. So we'll see if it's just finding a floor, and then it's going to continue. Let's get, since we just finished talking to him, to Tony. Let's talk history. Why don't we on this day in music? Richie Havens in 2013, April 22nd, folk singer who opened up for the legendary Woodstock Festival, died of a heart attack at 72. In 2008, on this date, it was revealed that 60s singer Tommy Steele took Elvis Presley on a secret tour of London in 1958 after Presley struck up a friendship with Steele. When the rock legend flew into London for a day, Steele apparently took him around the city, showing him famous landmarks as the House of Parliament. Let's see. On this date in 91, the Dave Matthews Band played their first ever live show when they appeared at the Earth Day Festival in Charlottesville, Virginia. On this date in 89, Madonna started a 3-week run on the #1 charts and the singles charts with Like a Prayer, the singer's 7th U.S. #1, also a #1 in the UK. In 78, Bob Marley and the Wailers performed at the One Love Peace concert in Jamaica. It was Marley's first public appearance in Jamaica since being wounded in an assassination attempt a year and a half earlier. Why would you attempt to kill Bob Marley? Like, are you out of your mind? What's wrong with you? In 67 on this date, a popular monkey poll conducted in the music paper Disc and Music Echo, Davy Jones received 63% of the vote. Mickey Dolenz 22%, Peter Tork 8%, and Mike Nesmith 7%. On this date, in 66, the greatest year ever, Dolphins were born. Dolphins and Big O were born. Okay. Wild Things by the Trogs, originally called the Troglodytes, was released in the U.S. both the Adco and Fontana labels. The song went to #1, fronted by Reg Presley. Wild Thing became a major influence on garage rock and punk rock. There you go. Celebrating birthdays today in the music industry. No longer with us, Glenn Campbell, Peter Frampton, Paul Carrick, and Machine Gun Kelly. There you go. Those are the folks celebrating birthdays today. By the way, nobody won the Mega Millions. It will roll over on Tuesday after 0 players matched all 6 numbers during the drawing. So the jackpot now will increase to an estimated $202 million for Tuesday night. 19, 30, 34, 46, and 58. And the golden ball number was Tremon. So there you go. What else? JJ is a product of the system. I don't know what that means. Big O, you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I always will, Jeremy. Thank you. I hope the Finns get back to building this team inside out, strong O-line, D-line. I think they're going to do that now. Well, they've been doing that, but I think they're going to do a lot of that here. So, Big O, I can't wait to listen to Ian Eagle and Charles Davis call a Dolphin game this year. I just want the Dolphins to win and win a lot. I don't give a shit who calls the game. I don't care if you're calling the game. I need them to win. That's all I want. You know? That's all I'm asking for. I don't think it's too much to ask. By the way, remember you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Caitlin Clark is getting a deal with Nike now for her basketball shoe. Her jersey is flying off the shelves. It's breaking records. So her shoe deal could be the biggest in the history of women's basketball. Clark is in line for an 8-year deal that could be worth $28 million as a signature shoe. It came after Clark took college women's basketball to new heights and record-setting TV appearances, all that kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. Record-setting, $28 million. They're going to be underpaying her. I don't know if that's the word that I would use, but she is not going to be getting paid enough. $28 million. That shoe will be the most popular shoe out there. It'll be more popular than most male athletes. Okay? Like maybe the Jordan Air brand or something else, might be 1 or 2 people might be surpassing her, but her shoe is going to explode. Little girls and women all over are going to buy her shoe. Guys are going to buy her shoe. Okay? I don't think guys buy women's shoes. I don't think they've ever done that. I bet you they'll buy Caitlin Clark shoes. So 28 million is a lot of money over 8 years, but considering what she's going to do marketing wise, she's going to produce a lot more. She's underpaid, bro. She is underpaid in a big time way. Oh my God. Definitely undervalued. But I get it. It's a threshold, the glass ceiling you haven't broken yet. So it's just one of those things. And who knows? Listen, it says 8 years, whatever. If she's got a good attorney and all, an agent and all that, they probably have a window to renegotiate somewhere a couple years down the line. You know what I mean? But that shoe is going to be, that's going to be crazy, dude. They're not going to be able to keep that shoe in stock early on. It's going to fly big time. Big time. Let's see. What's better, music or sports? Oh God. I'd rather be at a U2 concert than anything, except maybe a Dolphins Super Bowl. So, but a Dolphins game or a U2 concert? Yeah, I'm going to the U2 concert. So I'm going to go music. Slight edge over sports at times, except if it's a Dolphins Super Bowl. That's the one thing that I will give for anything. Okay. All right. The only thing I won't change is my daughter and my wife. But outside of that, I'll change anything for a Dolphins Super Bowl, bro. Anything. Sports is, yeah, right. Sports is more of a letdown. Exactly. You're right. That's actually a great, you know what, Drew? That is the best point. Like, I cannot fail going to a U2 concert. I just bought tickets to go see The Fix at the Culture Room. I think they're coming in November or some shit, whatever. I bought a pair of tickets for me and the wife to go. Any Fix concert I go to, I walk out with just, love, like energy, happiness. Same thing. I go to a U2 concert and it is therapy. It's cathartic. It's just one of those things. It's just, yeah, it never fails. Those experiences at the Sphere, all three of them, it was just heaven. So, yeah, music never lets me down. I walk out of a Greta Van Fleet concert and I am on cloud 9, bro. So, yeah, music never fails me, man. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a great way of looking at it, Drew, because the sports could, me and the wife, she was my girlfriend then, we got in a car. We went to New Orleans. We went to go see the Canes in Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun watching Lamar Thomas get the ball stripped from him from George Teague. It wasn't fun watching those defensive ends, Curry and Copeland, dominate the Canes. It was not fun. And I drove all the way to New Orleans, and I drove all the way back. And it was not fun. Not fun. But I could drive for a concert anywhere and drive back, and it'll be fun. Oh, man, that was awesome. I enjoyed this, and they did this, and they played this in the encore, and oh, my God, the opening act was great, and this was a great festival, and you're driving back, and you're super fucking happy that you saw the concert, the festival, whatever it is. Yeah, you can't say that with sports every time. It's going to let you down, and it's going to let you down hard at times. So, yeah, music never lets me down. Yeah, especially a U2 concert. Oh, my God. That's like, that's like going to church. It's one of those things, like people that love to go to church and then they feel good when they get out like that. It's kind of like, that's how we feel when we go see U2. So, yeah, I would go with that. Yeah, sports can ruin your whole day, your whole week, all of that. Music just never does.
A Dolphins Super Bowl will win, obliterate any feeling from any concert. Yes. I can't disagree with that. I would give anything for a Dolphins Super Bowl win. Anything. So, yeah, I'm with you. I am definitely with you. I was there when Miami won the AFC East. That was awesome. Yeah, I've seen them win the AFC East a bunch of times. WNBA needs to popularize Clark and Reese like Magic and Bird. Well, we'll see. The thing about Reese, unlike Clark, she doesn't really manipulate the ball. So you kind of need somebody that's opposite of Clark that can really create, you know what I'm saying? Because Bird and Magic, I don't know if you're old enough for that, but you know, they were able to go at each other, but they also controlled the game like Caitlin Clark does. So I think you need somebody more offensive. You know, Reese is awesome, but she's a different kind of player. You know, you kind of need somebody, a yin and a yang, and that's not really the yang to Clark's yin. It went that way in college, but it's really not like that in the pros. You're going to need a scorer, somebody that can tit for tat, you know, that kind of bullshit. So there you go. Michael Fernandez says, hello, Big O and Sean. I'm just tuned in. I'm listening from the beginning. Completely agree with your take on the opening monologue. Have a great day. Yes. Well, what can I tell you? That's, the changing of the guard is what's gone on here in South Florida. All right, folks. We thank Ira Winderman, Tony Pauline, Charles Davis. We thank, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that is Sean Stanley, mastering the entire platform. Thank you to all for tuning in. Thank you for those of you that send in a super chat. If you send in support on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, that is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. We appreciate you if you sent in a Bitcoin donation like Ray Martinez did, or a donation like Ho Yoon. Appreciate all of you out there. We will see you tomorrow. More draft talk. We will have tomorrow Luke Easterling, Jeremy Fowler. We're expecting also, of course, David Furones and Manny Navarro. So the show will be loaded. Plenty of draft talk tomorrow. Canes talk, all kinds of stuff for you coming your way on Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.